NaruTalk, the Naruto ShipPodcast, is made possible through contributions from listeners like you. To help support the podcast and to earn exclusive rewards, head to www.patreon.com/NaruTalkPod. That's www.patreon.com/NaruTalkPod. Believe it!
Hey everyone, this is Naruto Uzumaki, and you're listening to NaruTalk. Believe it!
Hello everyone, welcome back to NaruTalk, the greatest podcast ever to be all about Naruto. I'm your host, Liam English, and with me as always is my co-host, Morgan Williamson.
Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well, having a nice day.
Alright, so Morgan, we talked about this a little off air, and I did prepare you for this, so I'm not shocking you with it.
I mean, I don't know if you prepared me for it, you just told me it was happening.
Well, okay.
Bring out the heroin.
Okay, so the truth of the matter is, Gangsta's Paradise, and I researched the hell out of it because it was such a good bit last week when we were talking about it, and Raj and I sang and everything, and it was I felt like I was learning so much, but Gangsta's Paradise is not, in fact, based off of a poem.
Yes, and I explained that I happened to misspeak when I explained that whole thing. Gangsta's Paradise has a poem sampled that was based off of a photograph entitled...
Gangsta's
Paradise.
It was...
But
I just misspoke because I can't... It is entitled Valley of the Shadow of Death.
Oh, yes.
And I said based off of meant sampled.
Right. Which is... Look, I just wanted to clear the air for all the diehard Coolio fans.
Beef over.
Exactly.
I don't want you dead anymore. It's okay.
Did we get any comments about...
Coolio?
Coolio.
Okay.
Coolio hit us up.
No, but imagine some future years from now, once, first of all, this podcast blows up, and second of all, a live-action Sonic movie comes out. Everybody's listening to Coolio all the time. Somebody listens to Gangsta's Paradise, listens to this, and they're like, where's the poem? They try and find it. You know what I mean? I'm saving future generations time and money.
Well, if you just... Never mind. I was going to say, if they try and find the poem...
Yeah.
And they just search the Valley of the Shadow of Death.
Well, yeah, but that's like a quote from the Bible, though.
Well, yeah,
Morgan, Liam's playing 16D chess right now.
Yeah, I mean, I because the reason that I didn't find it was that I kept searching inspiration for fucking Gangsta's Paradise. You know what I mean?
Well, that was an incorrect way of searching.
Well, sure, but it was from a misspeak, so it was a missearch and it all the way down. Anyways, the point is...
We've clarified.
That's the Gangsta's Paradise
illiterate.
Clarification. Well, you weren't reading...
Illiterate is speaking, writing, and reading.
I did not know that.
At least I think it is.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Let me make sure before I misspeak.
So that we can...
Before Liam researches what illiterate means.
Next week, we'll start the podcast with, we're sorry to all the illiterates out there.
You've been penetrated, not fucking...
Alright, yes. Well, yes.
I was wrong. It says unable to read or write.
Yeah. 2 for 2. You should stop speaking.
No.
I'm gonna be honest.
Bye, guys.
Absolutely don't.
See
that would be
see you never.
bad for the audio podcast. Anyways, I'm also joined by my co-host, Katie Sideri.
Hi.
Katie, who we found out this week. Those of you that are in the Discord already know this, which you can get into for just $2 by pledging to the Patreon. But yes, Katie is, in fact, a bigger weeb than I am. Like, times 10.
It's insane.
Yeah, which is...
mind-blowing.
I've just seen more anime is all that means.
But that's literally what that means.
No, weeb means that you like want to be a part of anime culture. Like it's like you're like really, really super into all the stuff and like you wish you were Japanese.
For example, you watch a lot
Do you know how you get into anime culture?
Watch
that.
But I meant like you want to be Japanese. I meant to say Japanese culture and I said anime culture.
For those of
that
you,
was problematic.
For those of you that are hearing that horrible pounding noise, that's Katie punching the table.
Fucking bad shit.
Well, she gets furious.
My eyes dilated, bro. That was crazy.
Yeah, but so do join the Discord for great conversations like that. But basically, the only anime or manga that I know is what was in Shonen Jump, like between the time that I was like 10 and when they stopped publishing it, which was when I was like 13. So, but Katie apparently has seen 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix, which seems like some hardcore weeb shit.
Is it? I feel like it's like a Netflix show, you know? Like, it's not really that, like...
To be fair, I have other friends who weren't, like, huge into anime, but, like, they watch stuff at other
yeah,
things
like,
on
I feel
Netflix.
Like that's the one
Because again, I'm someone who uses other methods to watch anime besides, you know, like, Crunchyroll or Netflix. But when I got Netflix and Hulu, I was like, let me peep this anime section, and there's really not much there.
On Netflix?
No, I mean, like... there's a lot there, but most of it's pretty shit.
Yeah, that's
true. It's not like deep weeb anime.
That's
not even like
true.
deep
like
weeb,
soft
you know?
weeb.
Soft weeb.
When like Hulu got Fruit Baskets, I was fucking the old one, not the new one. I haven't seen that. If it's good, I hope it's great. If it's not, fuck you.
It sounds like there's a Fruit Basket controversy that Raj is saving himself from.
But like I got ecstatic. Like I love just really good shit on Netflix. It's usually like little magic anime girl who's actually 9,000 years old.
I just want to say, the Netflix original anime Little Witch Academia, if that's what you're specifically talking about, is a fantastic anime.
Look, no, listen. I mean, yes, I was talking about that one.
It's great, so.
Magical girl anime can be done well. I just think a majority of it isn't done well.
Okay, all right. Well, for those who are wondering who was just talking, that was the fourth co-host, Raj.
Hi. So my whole intro bit today, actually, I'm gonna give some 4D wall breaking. My whole intro bit, I was
fourth wall breaking.
Fourth wall.
4D wall.
I'm still playing 4D chess right now with my own brain. I'm losing.
Yes.
So my whole bit was I wasn't gonna talk at all, and then when you were gonna introduce me, I'd stay silent. And I'd go, "Oh, sorry, I became a Buddhist monk for a second," and then it just stopped there. But I realized I was just still talking the whole time.
Yeah.
Because today I did become a Buddhist monk for a hot minute because
I'm excited to hear what he means by this.
So as some viewers may know, and now you will know, I intern at the daycare center at our school here. So I work with children from the ages of 3 to 4, and when we take about an hour and a half to let them play outside at the end to get their like energy out, and it's a little playground. And my whole gimmick now, well, before I was just shooting kids down the slide constantly.
I like how you phrase that.
Shooting them down
Because it's
the
literally
slide.
what it is. They run up there and I like hand on their back, like launch them. Next, go.
Good, it's good for your muscles, you know.
No, it's a real workout. Sometimes
Is that how you get your
huge
bulging
muscles.
All right.
For those at home, Liam whipped out his dick stroke for a hot minute.
Whoa, okay.
That's you really had to enjoy that one.
Oh my gosh, no. I do like that you guys talk about that sometimes, though.
But so
throwing kids down slides.
But so my whole gimmick now essentially is I become a air quote unquote monster, or today I was a bear.
Oh, that's cute.
Where they like I'm not allowed to run after kids, so I'll just take huge space steps and I'll walk like largely towards them, and I'll just yell uncontrollably, or I'll start screaming, and these kids start running away from me, or like they'll hide in plain sight but think they're really well hidden.
Sure.
My favorite part is some of the kids get really scared, and then they feel true, genuine fear, and they stop and cower, and they're like, "I don't want to play anymore." I'm just like, and I rub their hand, like, "Oh, it's okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm not scary."
Aw, that's really sweet, though.
But today I was a bear, and I was chasing. There was no toys allowed because it was raining heavily, so they were only allowed to use the gym equipment that we had to towel down. But no toys, so they all focused on me. They're like, "Hey, be a bear," and I was like, "All right, roar! I'm a bear. I'm running after you. Like, run away." And eventually, from one kid to another who weren't participating at first, but then slowly getting around to it,
right.
They became violent. They became aggressive.
Like bear hunters, their instincts kicked in.
Bear hunters. So they all, I'm not exaggerating, about 8 to 10 kids were holding on to my shirt, pulling me down in the wet sand.
Oh my god.
They were ripping me apart. And then a bunch of the other teacher assistants and interns had to pull kids off of me.
Holy shit, for
That's
real?
where the black eye came from?
No, it gets and then one kid ran up to me and was like, "Oh, I hate you, bear," and he threw sand all in my shoes, and like cold wet sand that I was dealing with, so I was just in pain and uncomfortable. And then this is when it finally happened. All the kids were off me. I finally felt a true moment of bliss.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. "I hate you, bear." Right in my dick. Absolutely destroyed any sense of life in me.
Oh my god.
I fell to the floor on my knees. I was just in pure agonizing spiraling pain. My vision was blurring. This kid had like a rock in his hand or something. Like a boulder.
Right. He rolled a boulder into your cock.
And I thought to myself, my first instinct is to just fucking scream, maybe hit someone.
Maybe beat up the kid.
Yeah. And then I remembered, this kid's 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I had to become so peaceful. I had to attain such a level of nirvana that nothing could bother me in this world anymore.
You know, when you started the story, I was like, I don't know, is it Buddhist monk? Like, is it, I wonder what it really, like, did he just see, like, a nice tree and feel peaceful? But no. If you were able to hold in everything after a kid chucked a rock at your dick, I've got to give you that one. That's pretty hardcore.
No, it took me a minute to recover there. And then I got up and I was like, I'm a bear, please stop hurting me. I became like the Smokey the Bear guy. I'm just like, we're friends, please leave us alone.
Please don't burn down my forest. There's bad news for the podcast this week, too. Our animal mascot passed away this week.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I shouldn't have been the one. Me and Morgan had no idea what you were talking about when we should have been the ones who really knew what was going on.
I was like, what?
Here, take the lead.
So I went on a field trip yesterday for a class, and upon my arrival to Katie and I's dorm room,
A noose, a stool kicked over, dark room, a note.
Katie was just gleefully washing her paintbrushes in our sink, and I was like, yes, I'll check on our frog. And unfortunately, as of yesterday, Amphibian has passed.
Yeah. Amphibian the frog, named for former co-host Emma. I think we talked about it like twice, and so I was like, we should bring up. Yeah. But for those of you who are really sad about the frog having passed away, there's also really big news for the podcast and kind of great news. And that is that we have a live show coming up, guys.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
In 43 days.
43 days.
43 days.
In 43 days, because it's also Morgan's birthday. But we have to celebrate on the live show. But the point is, episode 18 of this podcast is going to be a live show. It's going to be in the city of Purchase, New York, at SUNY Purchase, the college, in the Humanities Building, room... Fuck, I didn't write down the room.
In room fuck.
Yeah, no, in room, I think 1032. But it's at 7 p.m. on Friday, November 8th in the Humanities Building at SUNY Purchase College. So, if you can, you should absolutely come out for that because it's going to be awesome. And we're going to project the episodes and then do a live bit of the recording the podcast. So, we're going to have a live show episode of the podcast. Morgan, what's the podcast about?
Well, we have 2 regular Naruto watchers and 2 newbies to the show who watch 2 to 4 episodes every week, and then we sit down and, we just say what we think about it.
That's right, and we do only watch canon episodes of Naruto, so no filler up in this biatch. Here's something fun that happened this week. There was this post on Reddit that was like, oh, hey, my girlfriend's just getting into Naruto. And then it was like their texts together about Sakura or something like that. And I commented, hey, there's a podcast that's basically made for girlfriends being forced to watch Naruto. And it is by far the most popular thing I've ever put on Reddit. I got hundreds of upvotes.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it just freaking exploded.
That's amazing.
Anyways, the episodes that we are talking about this week are episodes 31, 32, and 33 of Naruto, which is the battle against the Sound Village Ninja. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's NaruTalk about it. We open on Sakura dampening a rag beneath the aerating roots to replace that which was on Sasuke's forehead. If we remember last time, they're in like a little hut of roots in the forest. He whimpers painfully in restless slumber, and Sakura sighs. As she watches over her teammates, she struggles to stay conscious, nodding off despite recognizing the importance of keeping watch. Last time she was the sun came up, do you remember?
The really pretty, beautiful ass.
Yeah, well, the animation is back to not being 10 out of 10.
Look, yeah, the contrast is so heavy, it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah. Just as her eyelids droop shut, Naruto wakes up, announcing how well he slept with a massive yawn. Immediately after, Sasuke sits up, and removing the rag from his forehead, he and Naruto thank Sakura for watching over them while they recovered. That was fast.
Yep.
My immediate first thought was that she fell asleep, and while she was asleep, they became like imposters. And when that was happening, I was like, oh no, they're imposters.
That's a good thought because
some people did it already.
Yeah, and there was a fuck ton of setup for them being imposters, so that actually makes sense.
Nice.
Well, overjoyed, Sakura tears up, but as her teammates continue talking, she's distracted by a haunting vision in the trees beyond.
That shot. Nightmare.
Yeah, it's actually scary.
Like, terrifying.
Yeah. Well, in the foliage just beyond the clearing that they're in, Sakura sees the half-burnt body of Orochimaru taunting her.
Hated that.
Yeah,
Hated all that.
and it's
awful.
like because Sakura doesn't know what Orochimaru's full face looks like because he didn't tear off the grass ganyns until he was fighting Anko. So it's like you can see the bits that are Orochimaru, but the melting face is just all charred up, and it's like, it's
It doesn't help
nasty.
that person that Orochimaru impersonated was a terrifying person to look
Yeah,
at.
that's true. Isn't that like such a nice coincidence for Orochimaru that he needed somebody to impersonate and he just happened to find a creepy ass motherfucker?
What are the odds?
It's true.
Or maybe she was like a real sweetheart and we just never got to know her.
Yeah, what if
Just looked
she
like
wasn't actually creepy, but once he took over her body, she became creepy?
Yeah, like her.
Well, no, he didn't take over her body. He melted off her face
That's true.
and then kind of slapped it on his.
Oh my god.
What if that made it
is what
creepy?
happened?
Yeah.
Like, what's
well,
that one
I mean,
horror movie where?
Silence of the Lambs?
Nope, there's a different one.
Shining?
No.
Wait, what are
Wait,
you talking
how
about?
many horror movies I think were they cut
Maybe
off?
I think it might have been one of the Saws.
They cut off someone's face and wore it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, no, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never seen that one.
That shit is... I think that was like my first horror movie. It was like the 2010
Yeah.
remake. It didn't scare me, more so it just the idea... In one scene, somebody eats teeth soup, I believe.
Teeth soup.
Yeah, and that just made me so uncomfortable. Oh,
Yeah.
the person who got fed it had no gums, but they're still forced to clamp down a bit, so it was just a little gummy, a little
Well,
weird.
maybe the teeth would stick into their gums and then they would just get new teeth.
That'd be a weird mini game to
Sounds
play.
like a wonderful cure, if anything.
That's some fucked up dentist mini game.
Yeah. Well, she sees this burnt up Orochimaru, and he does that thing where he hyperextends his neck, firing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He
that was awful.
fires his snarling head towards them, and then it transforms into like a snake, but it's just coming out of Orochimaru's body, which is weird when you see the body just standing in the background.
Yeah.
She tries to warn her teammates, but like them, she can't make a sound. Horrified, all she can do is watch as the snake rears up and seemingly devours our heroes. The screen goes black, and there's this nasty crunch sound effect, only for Sakura to jolt awake. The boys remain unconscious. Dream sequence.
That got me hard.
Yeah,
That
right?
was a
That
lot.
was fucked.
Well, yeah, I didn't really remember this part in the manga, and so when they woke up, I was like, huh, that seems fast.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. So they woke up. Well, Naruto woke up, and
Yeah.
I was like, he would wake up.
Yeah,
And then Sasuke woke up, and I was like, she's fucking dreaming.
that's when it
not
was
real.
suspicious. You're right, yeah.
Yeah.
And also he was being nice to her, which is
He's
always
like,
suspicious.
thank you so much, Sakura. And she was like, me?
Yeah, and then immediately it's like, well, this simply can't be true.
But
Absolutely.
that just image of just that figure.
Yeah,
Like,
Orochimaru. Well,
Like my room is haunted,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And some like when the lights are off, I just be seeing shit.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I've been in that same position Sakura has been, it's just.
and seeing a snake person?
While your friends are
Yes.
unconscious.
No, okay, people don't know this. I'm gonna reveal my biggest fear on air right now, and I'm being serious. My biggest fear in the world is reptiles appearing out of like water, like so. Imagine taking a shower, right, and suddenly out of nowhere it's snakes. Or like, what if you're what if you're just peeing and then 6 alligators?
Yeah.
Like,
Whoa.
and the thing is, you'll never be ready.
6 alligators?
Well, Raj is from the city, and there's alligators in the sewers in the city.
But 6 alligators coming out of a toilet?
No, but just like, no, but really imagine. Okay, what if you're taking a shit, right? And suddenly, I know the doorknob like turns. Komodo dragon just walks in.
Oh, I thought you
on,
meant.
on like its back legs, walking like a human.
Yeah, he
wearing
walks in wearing a
tie.
suit and it brings a little briefcase.
Just like, oh.
God,
It's door-to-door Komodo dragon service.
goes into your bathroom.
Maybe it's just the plumber, but it happens to be a Komodo dragon and you're racist.
Generally, it's one of my biggest fears is just reptiles where they need not be, and then so just seeing
They need not be.
so Orochimaru just standing there, just
I love the idea of Raj needing to fill out a form that's like, what's your biggest fear? And he's like, reptiles worst they need nottest be. I love that, man. It's clear that you're being honest because you're speaking like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Before Sakura can adjust to how much time has passed, a rustling in the bushes causes her to draw a kunai. Trembling as she turns, Sakura is met with only a squirrel, which runs at her playfully. Still, she throws the kunai towards it as it approaches, terrified of it coming any closer.
said fuck PETA.
Well, she successfully deters it from its path.
And successfully pissed off PETA. We're coming for your ass, Sakura.
Yeah. Well,
not PETA, but fuck
we
you.
actually talked before about how PETA might be the big bad of Naruto.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, PETA's bad in general.
Yeah, well, yeah. PETA is like objectively
they're
evil.
fucked. But I think at this point where the show is out,
Does PETA like reptiles?
I don't know.
I don't know. Do they? I don't know.
Are we currently talking about PETA, like, in the real world, like, the animal
PETA.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a character named PETA that I just missed their name.
Hunger Games.
Yeah, we're talking about PETA.
I also thought that for a second.
The blonde fucking...
Here's a question. Liam Hemsworth or PETA from Hunger Games?
Josh Hutcherson?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
No.
Like 100%.
Oh, that wasn't my answer. I was just giving you his name.
Wait, which one are you?
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Really?
You're Josh Hutcherson?
I don't know. I don't have a strong
You're
opinion.
crazy. Oh
but-
my god, first name alone, Liam Hemsworth is way sexier.
Oh, well. I don't
Viewers
remember
at home
Liam Hemsworth looks like.
can't see it, but Liam, you know when he did that dick stroke thing? Did it again.
No. Well, just beyond Sakura's vision, the three sound ninja wonder if Sakura detected the paper bomb attached to the squirrel, surprised that their sneak attack failed.
That was so funny.
We attached the paper bomb to the squirrel. How did she know?
Yeah. They're bringing back paper bombs. They just introduced that like
Yeah.
2 episodes ago. Interesting.
I'm glad ninja tools are being used more.
Yeah.
Because I was really thinking about when we were watching this, when we play Naruto, you do it more than I do, like in the video game Storm 3, they give you like assigned to the 4 directions on the D-pad, ninja tools, like little bombs and on like the poisonous shit. I never use those.
Yeah, well, people, as Naruto goes on, obviously, like, the battles get bigger and more bombastic and stuff.
Ooh, good
and
word.
thank you. But people forget sometimes that, like, the beginning of Naruto was all about tactics, you know, and tools,
that's
and like
true.
almost, it's almost real. There's just some stuff that's like, obviously the snakes and shit is. I mean, snakes are real, to be clear.
Yeah.
If anyone listening,
I
like,
don't think that snakes are real.
well, Raj saw his first snake this summer, so
I did.
if anybody listening like Raj has never seen a snake, then I don't want you to think that they're fictitious. They are real.
They're real.
But they're not giant and they won't eat
You know,
you.
if anything, we're the dicks. First time I met the homie, I stepped on him.
Yeah.
First time I met the homie, I stepped on
It
him.
happens. It really do be like that. And now the snake's releasing a diss track.
It really be your own.
Dosoo doubts. Oh, Dosoo. If we talked about it last week during reader
Furry
response.
guy.
Yeah, he's the name of the little mummified furry guy.
Oh,
Well,
right.
he doubts Sakura's perceptions, suggesting they move in to investigate because he doesn't think that she could have detected the paper bomb. Meanwhile, Rock Lee, my favorite character
My
by
king.
far, travels through the trees and notices 20 leaves slowly drifting to the forest floor below him. He assigns himself a challenge. Catch all 20 leaves before they fall, and Sakura will fall in love with him. If he fails, she'll reject him forever.
It was
Dude,
like
no.
a love me not, like
Bro.
sunflower
Yeah.
thing. But,
This
like,
man literally went to the chiropractor, but the chiropractor was just a fucking tree branch.
Yes.
Dude, I
This man was
felt
like, ugh.
I felt Lee on a spiritual level here.
Yeah.
I do this shit sometimes.
Yo, absolutely, me too. I actually did it today. If I'm listening to a song and it's like emotionally resonant for me, I'll be like, okay, if by the time this song ends, I see like this person, then it means that person is like I'm made for that person.
Literally.
Or something stupid like that.
I do this
yeah.
shit all the time.
I assign
No,
myself
really, I do
challenges
stuff like that,
constantly.
too.
Lee remembers Sakura's insults, and that actually encourages him to prove himself and catch all these leaves.
incredible.
I know, he's so sweet. Well, he dives into his exercise, but like you were saying with the chiropractor thing, he slams into a tree branch after he catches 19.
R.I.P.
I know. But Lee does not waste any time. He launches himself towards the final leaf, but he's distracted from his task by that squirrel from earlier, which is writhing around on the ground in pain as the paper bomb on its back burns.
Which was so sweet of him to
Yeah, I
like,
know.
save the squirrel.
Well, of course he's gonna stop his little
But
challenge.
also, like, the reality of it, of like the paper bomb going off and those sound guys are like, fuck it.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
Oh yeah, they really
Yeah.
just
Well,
put a bomb
They
on
said
a squirrel.
fuck PETA too.
Also, like, I got the point of it, but when Lee picked up the squirrel,
Yeah.
it was literally just a piece of paper on fire.
Yeah.
And then when he took it off, it was just a piece of paper on fire. So what damage would that do
Well,
to Sakura?
oh, to Sakura?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Because
I-
if it, in reality it was actually like a paper bomb,
Yeah.
the squirrel would have blown up.
Well, no, I think that what was happening was that it was like sort of it was like on the fuse, you know, because
it.
well, what happens next is Lee gets it and he forsakes the self-imposed challenge and he saves the squirrel, takes it off, and he like crumples up the paper bomb, and I think that that deactivates it or something. But I do think that it was just like burning to detonate. You know what I mean?
Because I was like, that wouldn't have done
Yeah,
anything.
they don't call it a bomb, and it's just a little tiny
I
piece
was
of
very
fire.
confused.
Yeah.
I was like, that's just a piece of paper on fire. The
I
squirrel's
didn't even
fine.
think about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
The
know.
squirrel isn't even burnt. Like, dude's
Yeah,
fine.
no. Elsewhere, Neji walks through the forest and calls out Team 10 when they sloppily hide from him behind a bush. That's
every day, bro.
Yeah.
This dude's that's a big dick move.
Who, Neji?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Not
yeah.
only did he, like, call him out, but he was in the open. He, like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
him alone. He's like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, Team 10, of course, is Ino, Shikamaru, and Choji.
Or Jake Paul and his friends.
Oh no.
I did make that joke, and William said, yeah.
I didn't get it, I'll be honest with you. I did not know who Jake Paul was.
Fascinating.
Do you now?
Interesting.
Am I outing myself for anything? Is that, like, bad that I don't know
No,
what
I
that
think
is?
that's like an ignorant bliss
Do you know who
you want.
Logan Paul
Yeah.
is? The guy that found the
That
dead
like
body
really.
in Suicide Forest in Japan.
Oh, is it
and vlogged
it's a
it?
YouTube
It's a
guy?
Yeah.
YouTube thing.
Yeah.
It's his brother.
Okay.
Who's married to Tana Mojo.
So I'm sorry.
Another YouTuber. A whole
You'll have
lot.
to
No, but that was like fake.
I just know them because my sister
It's
got
for
obsessed
clout,
with
but
It's
they're
Every
actually
Day,
married.
bro.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about YouTube people. You can start a podcast and...
I don't want to start a podcast.
Liam and me have like very similar YouTube tastes. Like it pretty much, he'll like text me a video of like a YouTuber I love. It's Scott the Waz. I like absolutely.
It's always Scott the Waz.
Me and Liam love sending each other Scott the Waz videos. We'll be like, bro, already seen it. Fantastic stuff.
So good.
It's so great.
Well, Neji's walking along and Team 10 hides from him. He calls him out, and so they have no other choice but to implement their plan B. So
suck dick.
Well, literally pretty much, because the group runs out and they just start gushing over Neji. Like, they ask for his autograph. Ino pulls down her hair and she's like, want me to suck your dick?
Pretty much.
Can I have your autograph? I've wanted to meet you for so long.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Props to
Suck your dick for your
Shikamaru's
scroll.
voice actor. He has like very little enthusiasm, but there's so much enthusiam.
Yeah,
before he
I
says.
actually really like him.
I love Shikamaru.
What a drag.
Your neck twisted. It's such a
Well, because
terrible.
Shikamaru walks around with such a slouch, you know?
I relate to him, honestly. But if I had to look like a Naruto character, I think I'd get him.
Well,
the
if
most.
any Naruto character had a dab pen, it would be
It would be
Shikamaru.
That's true.
Neji doesn't. I thought this was the funniest part of any of these episodes. He just walks away as soon as lets down her hair. He has a line that's like, "No, I'm not doing this."
Yeah.
And he just like immediately turns away.
Not
was
interested.
incredible.
Yeah. Ino, insulted by his rejection, raises her fist at him cartoonishly, but Neji is like, "Oh, is that a challenge?" Immediately, Ino begs for mercy, and Neji admits that honestly they wouldn't even be worth taking the scroll from. It would be kind of embarrassing if he fought them. Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
What I love
Everyone
is-
be like, "That's lame."
Yeah. What I love though is that Team 10 doesn't even take any insult from that. They're like, "All right, sounds good," and they pass the phone out.
That's true.
Okay, we'll go back to
I think truly it's good foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While Team 10 catches their breath, Ino tries to encourage them to find weaklings, all the while coping with her rejection. But Shikamaru doubts that there are any ninja weaker than them.
Who's their
Yikes.
sensei?
Asuma.
Dude, like, what a diss on him.
I know.
Like, he's like my second main in Naruto Storm 3, and that dude's my
Hey,
fucking
man,
homie.
Not everybody can be Kakashi.
That's true.
Even then, though, they were hiding the whole time.
Yeah.
Even no matter how
Yeah.
well they were taught, they were like, I know, we'll just hide the whole
Yeah,
time.
well, they were taught to hide really well. Maybe that was their training exercise, just a lot of hide and seek.
Oh my gosh.
Kakashi does survival exercises. Asuma plays hide and seek. No. He's like, all right, you guys hide. I'll find you later. He fucks off, grabs a cigarette, and just fucking, like, goes downtown, you know?
Fuck.
And then, like, days later, they're like, Asuma, you forgot to find us. And he's like, oh, yeah, my bad.
No, he's like, no, you just hit so
A
well.
real ninja is able to hide for weeks at a time.
So they all think they're really good at hiding, but he actually just doesn't give a shit about them.
He'll like actively see them hiding, and he's like, nah, not yet.
Yeah, it's just not gonna do. Like when you play hide and seek with the kids.
Oh yeah, when I play hide and seek with the kids, they dead ass just hide in plain
You
sight.
just have to be like, I don't know where you are.
What I'll do is I'll walk them and I'll go, if they are there, they have 5 seconds to run. And then they beam.
Yeah.
It is so funny.
Back with Team 7, Sakura continues to struggle to stay awake when suddenly the sound ninja appear at the edge of the clearing. They demand she wake Sasuke so they can fight him, but she refuses, asking what they, and Orochimaru, want.
Also, can she wake Sasuke? Because I'm pretty sure she tried for a while, and he was just like, ugh.
Also an excellent point. I don't know if they know that, though. Oh, shit, they actually literally don't know that. So does that mean
why would she be like, I can't?
Yeah.
He's unconscious.
No,
They just think he's a really heavy sleeper.
Yeah.
They just think he's sleeping.
It's clicking with me now that, I mean, like, I don't know. I like to not spoil things that happen even in episodes that we've watched, you know, when we're doing the outline.
Yeah.
But they don't know that he, like, can't wake up right now. So...
Interesting. Again, though, my point is, why wouldn't she just be like...
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I can't.
Well, no, I know. No, but that means that the sound ninja literally do think that it's just them sleeping.
They just slept through it.
Left sock.
I mean, she wouldn't say I can't because then they'd know that he's vulnerable, no?
But, like, yeah, I guess so. But
well, if they're gonna kill him, they're gonna kill him no matter what.
Also true.
That's true.
No,
Even if he's
it's
just heavy
you gotta
sleeping
look.
through it.
These guys are all about theatrics. They're sound ninja. You know?
Yeah.
They like Kabuto. They like swung on his ass during class in front of 40 people
That's
to
true.
flex.
Yeah, remember that?
But they're gonna pick the best time to be fashion.
They're just being dramatic.
Yeah.
Fair.
He is wearing a fur coat, and it's definitely hot outside.
Do you see the way he walks? He walks like a fashion model with his crab legs.
Yeah, I know. He walks all
scuttles
slouched
towards
over.
them.
Yeah, he's so bougie. Dosoo wonders how Sakura could know of Orochimaru. Like, they are confused how they met. While Zaku, who's the guy with the half face guard and the spiky hair on the Sound Ninja team.
So the not furry guy and the not lady.
Yes. They definitely... I think they dropped their names a little, but, like, I was like, I'm so fucking tired of writing the Sound Ninja with the spiky hair, you know? I was like, fuck it, I'll just Google their names. Because... They don't introduce anybody, they just say their names sometimes. Yeah. So Zaku prepares to kill Sakura. Before he can charge forth, Dosoo stops him, pointing out that the dirt around them was clearly just dug up, and that the grass doesn't match the environment. Stepping forward, Dosoo uncovers Sakura's trap, which she defended the squirrel from earlier by redirecting it with her kunai.
That's a big brain move.
Yeah.
Sakura.
Honestly, her forehead's so big, her brain's gotta be fucking massive.
But here's the thing. He said that the grass didn't match their environment. So is Sakura carrying around grass?
Don't normal people just carry around a roll of sod?
That's weird, right?
Dude, don't you know this? Her whole gimmick is booby trap.
No, I know.
She's like
where
fucking
would she
Fred.
get grass
No, she's
from?
like Fred from fucking Scooby-Doo. Like, he always just has
Like,
traps
from
on him.
somewhere else.
But, like, literally, where did the grass even come from then? You know what I mean?
I'm just thinking about that, actually. Fred would be in, like, a haunted castle, like, 17th floor, and be like, I could definitely have a bear trap right now. It's like, where...
What Scooby-Doo did you watch coming up?
The original... Like, the one on Boomerang.
Yeah.
That one was fantastic. Then I watched all the movies, like the cyber one.
The movies were like the Scooby-Doo. I feel like everybody came up with a different Scooby-Doo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. So like the original era was like the thing, and then Mystery Incorporated was like pretty solid.
Yeah.
I also watched the Scrappy Doo show.
Interesting.
Which is
Did
weird.
you guys watch any Scooby-Doo?
I just watched like the original cartoons and then the live actions.
The live action movies were
okay.
That first.
I didn't really.
No Scooby-Doo at all.
Not really.
I had one VHS of Scooby-Doo Where Are You? And I had Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase. My parents got me a DVD player for some long road trip and one movie, and it was Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase. So I literally watched it about 60 times.
It's a great movie to watch 60 times. Terrifying. But speaking of, so like similar to Liam, like TV shit in my house has always been weird. But at one point we lost Boomerang and Cartoon Network, and I had this weird alternate universe Nick thing or whatever.
Okay.
And instead of Scooby-Doo, my substitute for that was this show called Marvin's Mystery, or it's some shit like that. And it's about like a trio. It's a brother and sister. They have a mystery like incorporated thing.
I've never even heard of it.
And they also have a unthawed caveman, and he's like the beast of the group.
Sorry, an unthawed caveman or a thawed caveman?
What?
Because the way you're describing it, it's a man in a block of ice.
To be fair,
and they're like, "Oh, caveman, what do we do?" And he's just frozen. At best, he would be slowly sliding after them.
To be fair, his whole like it's a very cartoon-looking show. So when he feels since he can't speak or anything to display like him freezing up, he literally would like they'd animate him in a block of ice or something.
Okay, yeah.
But also, have you heard the show Totally Spies?
A little, I think.
Okay, so that show and Marvin's Mystery are made by the same people.
Martin's Mystery.
Martin's Mystery.
It's a French, Italian, Canadian animated television.
Très bien.
Dude, no, the French like made my childhood cartoons. Like Code Lyoko was like the biggest part of my childhood.
It's based on an Italian comic book.
Holy fuck! But yeah, so Totally Spies that were made by the same people.
So you never even read the manga?
No, not that. So I was watching the dub, unfortunately. But they did crossover episodes.
That's always fun.
It's
like
weird.
Scooby-Doo and John Cena.
Bro, I hate that happened.
Yeah, well. Believing that they've uncovered her only line of defense, the three sound villains jump forward. But Sakura cuts a wire next to her, springing a trap from above, which swings a log towards the group. However, Dosoo puts his hand to the log, and it crumbles to pieces, not slowing their advance at all.
Still was pretty freaking badass.
Yeah! Oh my god,
Yeah.
her little
She's
smirk.
like, hee.
Yeah.
I do appreciate for like when Dosoo was like talking to Sakura and shit.
Yeah.
When they would cut to Sakura, you would see the booby trap wire like the whole
Really?
time. Yeah.
I did not pick up with that.
Because usually, like especially how shit this one looks,
Yeah,
I thought they would.
I figured too.
They just had like a little wire.
But it
like,
was there?
No, but it was there the whole time.
That's actually really
so I'm
cool.
just,
Yeah,
it
that
makes
is
you
really
wonder,
cool. I
like.
didn't
I might go back and look for that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. Sakura tears up as the three close in, when suddenly Lee appears, knocking them aside with his leaf hurricane technique.
And the fucking squirrel.
Oh, yeah. He stands before her like in this like kung fu pose
gosh.
with the rescued squirrel on his shoulder and introduces himself to his foes.
Bob Ross
Dude.
looking ass.
Yeah!
I
Peapod
honestly,
the squirrel.
I welled up a little bit.
Oh my god, he's
Watching
so
Lee
good.
enter, man.
I am Rock Lee, here to protect you.
I just want him to win.
I know. Oh,
Okay, so you know how like Katie identifies with Hinata a lot?
Yeah.
I see Lee in myself
Aw,
quite a
that's
bit.
so
I love
nice.
it. He's the best.
I love that. Yeah, he is the purest, just,
So-
best boy
so-
by far.
Yeah.
Sakura wonders why Lee is there, and he declares that he will always aid her if she is in trouble, thanking the squirrel
gosh.
and placing it on the ground so it can run away.
So
And she reminds him that they're enemies in this section of the exam, but he swears that no matter what, he'll protect her. And then she remembers that he has a thing for her. So she's like, okay, yes, thank you.
Dude, that.
She said yes.
I
She
know.
said yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's a W. Let's go.
Yeah, no,
Let's
exactly.
go.
He's like, I'll protect you. And she goes, yes, thank you, Lee. And then he's like, oh, yes.
Small victories, man.
So
Yes
we are
to that
definitely-
question?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about the small victories.
I know, it's so sweet.
But also, don't take lessons on consent from Lee, please.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Lee's not someone you want to strive for
Oh,
as
yeah,
a
yeah.
relationship person.
Well, tossing his team's Earth Scroll to Zaku, Dosoo prepares to... Okay, oh my god, the Sound Ninja names are not good.
No, they're not. They're all the thought went into their outfits.
Yeah, that's true.
And even then, the Zazu fucker, whatever the fuck his name is.
Zazu.
Dosoo?
No,
Zaku.
Zaku.
Nope.
He
Zazu.
looks so lame. What is his design? It's really just Dosoo who looks fine, and then
Yeah.
the other two look like weird mashups of the TA.
Yeah,
from
they
the
clearly
beginning.
designed it Dosoo, Zaku, and then the girl very, very last. And they just took Ino with her hair down
Bro,
and
everyone
recolored
just
it.
looks like Aruka with a blown up face.
Right, but anyways, Dosoo tosses his team's Earth Scroll to Zaku and prepares to fight Lee and Sakura, pulling up his sleeve to fully reveal his gauntlet and rushing forth. Sakura throws a kunai, forcing him to jump in evasion, and Lee burrows into the earth, pulling up a massive root to block Dosoo's assault.
Insane. And he can't do jutsu. That was pure strength.
Right, yeah, it really, yeah, he didn't weave any hand signs or anything, so he really just pulled up a root.
And not only pulled up, he punched through
that's
solid
crazy.
earth
Yeah,
to rip
I
out
didn't think
solid
about
earth.
that.
yeah, it was
That
so
was
weird and
crazy.
random. Lee remembers Dosoo's powers, like you said when he punched Kabuto and it like affected him without
Yeah.
landing.
All hands.
Yeah, so he doesn't want to waste time falling for those kind of tricks. Meanwhile, Chochi, of course, is snacking in a tree, while Ino and Shikamaru contemplate where to find weaker teams. Shikamaru suggests Naruto's team, but Ino scolds him for suggesting they could beat Sasuke, who, she says, unlike Sakura, would never lose a battle.
Man, shut up.
I know, the Sasuke fan club.
I'm tired of y'all.
Choji, however, brings contradicting news as he notices the Sound Ninja fight from his perch. His teammates rush to his side and are shocked to see that Sasuke is collapsed and Sakura is fighting.
That was really fun. It's a good contrast to see, because in two ways. One, they were like, no, don't think like that we're better than Sasuke. We're truly not.
Right.
And then they also were shitting on Choji this whole time. So for him to go, hey guys, not only are you wrong, I'm the one who spotted it.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I know, everybody...
good.
And it was him eating too.
Yeah, everybody got their comeuppance in that like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Back at the kunai that Neji threw down in episode 30, when he was like, oh, let's meet back here, 10-10 wonders why Lee is late for their rendezvous, worried for his safety.
Because he's, like, stupid. Like, the way that this dialogue went, it was like, oh, no, he's never late. He's almost never... He makes such a big deal about not being late.
Lee's kind of a lunatic. There's no way
No, homie's insane. No, he's broken on the inside.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, no, not in like a... No, like he'll do like 500 laps, like what Liam does.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Liam.
Yeah, well, I too am broken on the inside, so...
Up top, oh, it falls apart.
Yeah, and then slowly crumble down.
Our hands shattered to glass when we clapped.
Now, Neji is sure that Lee's okay, but the two still hurry to find him. While traveling, Neji recalls the group training, specifically a moment that Lee mastered some special jutsu. He ran around hysterically celebrating until Guy punched him to quiet him down. And 10-10 and Neji were just sort of looking on, dumbfounded at their stupidity.
He was a dancing queen for a second there.
Lee, when he...
Yeah, he was like...
After he masters, he's like just swinging his arms around. Like one of those inflatable guys from the car thing.
Speaking of, I didn't know Dancing Queen was a thing. I never heard that song before.
Sure.
Except at the the daycare thing I do, the biggest requests are Mamma Mia and Dancing Queen.
From the small
3
children?
to 4-year-olds?
Yeah. They constantly want to listen to Mamma Mia, Dancing Queen. Oh, and Umbrella by Rihanna, I believe.
What?
Wow.
It's those 3 songs. They know them word for word. They dance to it at like 3:50 every day.
That's
amazing. Fantastic. I love that.
That's kind of fabulous.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. And then like you try to do a lesson where you have to listen to music, and they're like, "Oh wait, can you just play Mamma Mia instead?" And I'm just like,
I mean, I love ABBA though, so honestly,
I was playing the fucking Simpsons theme song for a thing.
Also a good song.
They had like I was like, you take the color orange and just draw to the rhythm this song plays.
Okay, that's fun.
And they're like, this one kid just kept doing dots, and he's like, "I'll do lines when we get to Mamma Mia and Dancing Queen." And I was like, no, buddy.
What a bitch. Dead ass. Anyways, in the flashback, Guy forbade Lee from using this new jutsu, the Hidden Lotus, because of the strain it puts on the body. See, he explains that the brain typically regulates muscular power to about 20% to protect the body. But the jutsu can override these biological limits, putting the user at extreme risk of muscular atrophy.
I thought for a second there, Naruto was responsible for the whole you only use 20% of your brain thing.
Oh, no.
Because the second they were going in that direction from the first word, I was like, oh my god, is this it?
No,
maybe
not
it
brain.
Accidentally did that, though, and somebody misinterpreted it.
The long game of telephone down the line.
Yeah.
No, it's not your brain, it's your muscles, so that you don't, like, wear them to dust, you know? Your brain, I don't know if that's certainly not true, but...
Not at all.
But it is an interesting thing, you know?
It is.
And
it's a whole movie about it, Lucy.
Yes, that's the brain.
Why?
But I love when, like, a world comes up with, like, logical explanations for stuff. Like, obviously it's not true, but, like, it actually follows.
It could be.
World building's important.
Yeah, like in DC Comics when they come up with, like, real reasons that Superman would get affected by kryptonite. It's like, oh, wow, I love that radiation and stuff. That's so cool.
In the same world, they have a superhero that's just a street.
Well, yeah.
Dude, Danny the Street.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Danny the Street's the coolest superhero. He's
That's
in
true.
my top 5
in
all
DC,
time.
he's just a street.
He houses, like, orphaned superhero
there's
kids.
There's a DC series called Doom Patrol, and it's all, like, the weird heroes and shit. Mm-hmm. And one of them is named Danny the Street, and he's just a street that is alive. But he doesn't move or anything. It's just a street.
Interesting.
He can be different streets around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually his character evolves into Danny the World.
I didn't even know
He does have a huge character development. It's very interesting.
Wow.
But he just houses
That's a very
orphaned...
literal way of doing character development. Like, he literally developed from a street into the planet.
Yeah.
Come up was crazy.
I would love to read some Doom Patrol, man. Anyways, in the past, Guy declared that there was only one condition under which Lee was permitted to use the technique. In the present, Lee unwraps his arm bandages, sure that the condition has been met. He's protecting the life of someone precious.
I love it.
Yeah. Then, faster than the eye can see, Lee appears beneath Dosoo, kicking him up into the air. Lee appears behind him and wraps him in his arm bandages, turning their descent into an inescapable pile driver.
This is a jutsu, right?
I don't know. Because I don't think so. Because it's just him overriding that block in his brain. So I don't think it's a jutsu because he didn't weave any hand signs.
But
I don't think the criteria for...
wasn't the whole thing like, oh, you mastered that new jutsu, so like
maybe they just use jutsu as a general umbrella term.
It is taijutsu, so I guess it is.
So
a jutsu.
he might just meant jutsu because he's cool like that.
But that is different. Like that doesn't necessarily mean it uses chakra. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It just they use jutsu for.
But didn't he say that it did? Because that's why.
That's why it overrides
so hard on his body.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe he can do.
But the point
jutsu.
is, it's not a jutsu like Phoenix Flower when Sasuke shoots fire or whatever. It's just like the basic chakra being able to physically unlock part of your body. But it's still under the umbrella of taijutsu, not nin or genjutsu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
World building.
Yeah, well, because they said that Lee's really no good at that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Recognizing the mortal danger his teammate faces, Zaku jams his hands into the ground, raising the dirt where Lee and Dosoo land to create a safe touchdown zone.
That still hurt. I don't believe that.
Oh, yeah.
No, it would definitely hurt like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He said it did too. He was like, even with the softer, that he took a hard blow, but also he was just fine and continued.
It's not like his neck's gonna break because it's all wrapped up in those bandages. He can't move at all. That's why he walks with a slouch.
I would love to see a pile driver contest between Sasuke. No, wait, it was this.
Sasuke pile drove fucking Orochimaru in the last couple episodes.
Him and Lee to do a pile driving contest.
Yeah, dude, I love a good pile driver in this show. As Lee jumps away, the Sound Ninjas celebrate, although they do say that it still hurts. Yeah. And Dosoo stands preparing an attack of his own. Lee, however, has not yet recovered from utilizing the Lotus technique and cannot adequately defend himself. Dosoo swings a punch at Lee, and though he dodges, Lee's vision and hearing distort. As Lee falls to his knees, Dosoo declares that while Lee may be fast, he can't keep up with the speed of sound.
Fucking iconic.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, I like to, when we get to the end of an episode, I like to spice things up a little bit, you know?
Yeah. No, but just even Dosoo saying that himself.
Yeah, I know, it's a good line.
The speed of sound.
Yeah. Very, very on brand with
I do, you know what? I do like Dosoo's voice actor.
Actually, me too.
He plays a cool dick.
Yeah, but also like kind of a clueless dick. Like I like the way that the more they talk about Orochimaru, the more you kind of realize Dosoo just doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. It's way above his pay grade.
Which is like literally the whole point of the last episode where Orochimaru revealed he's like, oh, so I have 3 guys. So like again, they were supposed to find them first.
Yeah, exactly.
He just did.
Yeah.
Also, I know what I said before on a few episodes ago that this is like my least favorite outro. Wrong.
You're coming around to it just like me, right?
Not even coming around. I love it.
It's the best one.
I was listening to it around like campus today. Yeah. It's kind of it's like
great.
The intro, like the first 5 seconds, a little weird, but then it just goes and it is.
Yeah.
So like this second season, fantastic.
I know, and I love the way that these episodes are so dark. I mean, we talked about it last
very
week.
Dark, very.
And
scary.
then it just goes to when Sakura's swaying.
So
it's actually a nice visual.
It's really cute. Yeah.
I would love to, dude. Someone should do that for us. If you're an animator out there and you want to do something for free, because you don't have money.
I mean, we'll put it everywhere if that means anything.
Free
we're not saying that as in free exposure. We just don't want to pay you.
Right? Yeah. No.
We're being straight up. We're not going to pay you.
Yeah. No. Straight up. No.
But. You know, not even for exposure. I won't show anyone. I'll just watch it.
What?
I won't even watch it. Just make it.
Well,
Fuck you.
I'll put it everywhere.
Yeah.
But
You're sitting with 3 very angry artists right now.
Exposure's everything.
Some would say no one's an artist.
Put me on your Instagram.
What?
Actually, some would say everyone's an artist.
Well, some would say if I beat the person
who would say anything. Yeah.
I'd beat their ass.
I would say everyone's an artist.
Oh,
come at me, bro. I'll pile drive your ass right here, right now.
Anyways, you guys can't see it, but Liam forced the gun he has under the table clutched to my knee.
Yeah, well,
and by gun he means his dick.
Keep talking shit, Raj. Keep talking shit.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
No, not true.
Yes.
He's gonna isolate that part too.
No, for what? For when I get arrested? No, okay. Episode 32, Lee's ear starts to bleed as he falls forward and vomits, though Sakura can't understand what's going on.
Fucked.
Dosoo reveals, I love when they do this, when they explain how something works. He reveals the function of that gauntlet that he has, which allows his hits to take effect even if they don't physically land through the power of sound. Ooh. He explains that the tympanic membrane, which is the fancy name for eardrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually learned this, but I didn't learn this.
Dude, I learned literally stuff about ears from this episode.
Like, I'm in a class where we're learning about the ear itself.
Yeah.
And I actually learned from Naruto more than my professor.
Yeah. I loved the little diagram that he had.
I just loved how these episodes were science.
I know.
Yeah.
Very science.
And or even like we talked about just a couple of minutes ago, how even if it's not science, like it's faux logic science, which
Faux science.
Yeah, but that still works pretty well.
Faux Naruto science.
Yeah. Well, he explains that the eardrum ruptures at sound levels above 150 decibels, and that this disruption then can affect the fluid in the inner ear canal, which destroys your sense of balance. Dosoo's gauntlet isn't the only sound manipulating attack the team has. Zaku explains that he can manipulate ultrasonic waves and air pressure through these holes in his palms, which is how he softened the ground beneath Dosoo and Lee.
You know what? I'll give it to this loser sound guy here. I thought Dosoo was gonna just be like the main sound villain here. Like those other two were just like. It's like right now Sakura and Dosoo, and those guys would just be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
No, but this guy wants smoke.
Yeah,
like,
Zaku's got a cool power.
He wants to fight.
I love those little Jesus holes, man.
Jesus holes.
Yeah, because Jesus had holes in his hands.
Yeah, but nobody calls them Jesus holes.
What? Yes, they do.
Never
man
heard
was
them be
crucified.
called.
I can name 12 disciples who call them Jesus holes. John, Paul,
Wow.
Gary.
Wow. My favorite disciple.
All right, I don't know all the disciples' names.
But when I do, I can name 12 of them.
As many.
I could make up some. Yeah, well, anyways, these out of his Jesus holes, he shoots these cool, like, it's so ultrasonic that when he did soften the ground, it, like, became super soft because it, like, disrupts it to the molecular level, you know?
It's made Play-Doh.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think Play-Doh would hurt.
Well, if it's like sand Play-Doh.
I would like to see a
Well, then
pool
it's not Play-Doh.
full of Play-Doh, to be honest.
I'd like to see it, but I don't think I'd like to be pile driven.
I would like
Not pile driven. I was gonna say I would.
You know those like crunchy slime videos? Like I like the
Are you talking about
satisfying
Sans
ones?
Play-Doh right now?
No, like crunchy slime.
Crunchy slime?
No.
It's like those like oddly satisfying videos
Oh,
where it's
yeah,
slime
yeah.
and like crunch together. I want a pool made out of that. I
Yeah.
thought that'd be very therapeutic.
Speaking of oddly satisfying, what the hell is all that shit? Do they just make that to destroy?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so weird, right?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
kinda
but no.
for sure.
I had a phase about it where I would just.
Oh, I love oddly satisfying.
I'm really into soap cutting.
Oh, I love soap cutting.
Yeah.
Oh, and kinetic sand cutting. That's my
Yep.
real like that.
No,
gets
it's
me going.
awesome, but
That's
I'm
good
just saying,
stuff.
like, it's weird that they manufacture things to just be broken.
Well, I don't know if the three of you remember, but when we were like 10,
Yeah.
slime was like a big thing.
Huge.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like
You mean like
disappeared.
Nickelodeon slime?
No, like making slime. Like
Yeah.
I remember I went
My
to like a
family called it
science
gap.
fair.
Oh
thing,
yeah. Yeah.
And then it got really big, and then it kind of just fell off the earth, and then it came back like a year and a half, 2 years
I
ago.
mean, that's cool. Slime is great.
And then people make it all the time, and then it just like became this huge thing that people just.
But actually, that's a good point. Like, I made a lot of slime when I was a kid, and that was like an afternoon of effort just for a thing that felt nice for 5 minutes and then was gross.
And then it gets
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
actually a good
people
point.
make it by like the tub, and they're like 20 gallons of slime, and they like post on YouTube.
We should
and
do
I'm
that.
Like, that is wasteful.
We should fill that kiddie pool at your house, Katie, with slime.
Yeah.
You ever know anyone who bought those like moon boots, like moon?
moon shoes.
Actually,
They're
there's
not like moon shoes. It's like
But they were like
the huge motherfucking.
the things that were like springs, and then
Yeah.
they bounced
Like,
them down, and it was
yeah.
like zero gravity.
I had a friend down the street who had one of those.
Incredible.
He was the
They
rich
terrified.
kid.
Dude, what about those like huge like fist things, but they were like soft, and you would just like beat the shit out of
Oh,
each other?
you know what?
Boxing gloves.
Here's Eli, my little brother, and I, we were like saving up coins and shit when we were kids for a long time, and we were like, oh, together we're gonna buy something. It's gonna be beautiful, brotherly, and we're gonna save up for like a PS2 or something. You know, this was like
Yeah.
in the mid odds. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But then X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, and I took all the money and bought myself a Wolverine claw. In my defense, it had sound effects.
What did Eli say?
Well, what was he gonna say? I had a Wolverine claw. He's not gonna talk shit.
Really?
He has a
Yeah,
point.
yeah, he's gonna be like, Liam, I think you stole that, and I'm gonna be like, chink, and put out the claws and be like, what'd you say, bitch?
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, you don't talk shit to someone with an FX action Wolverine claw.
No, that is wow.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm
most
like,
you
how-
thing I think I've heard.
You
in a
think
while.
Dosoo's gauntlet is cool? Fuck that. I had an FX action Wolverine claw, motherfucker. Anyways.
His shit can turn sand salt. I can stab fucking dirt. Fuck you.
Yeah. Dosoo charges towards Sakura. Recalling the same moment Neji did before, focusing on how proud Guy was of him, Lee becomes inspired by that, by the Lotus technique and everything, and he forces himself to defend Sakura. Attempting the Lotus technique again, the physical pain renders the move ineffective, and Dosoo counters his counter, hurling his gauntleted arm towards the boy. Though Lee is able to block the blow, Dosoo's gauntlet transforms the force thereof into sound, and he uses his chakra to redirect the piercing ring directly into Lee's damaged ear.
They did they had a frequency going.
Yeah.
I almost lost my mind.
The distortion on the screen?
The
ring that they played?
They had
I have that fucking thing, tinnitus, tinnitus.
Yeah.
I have that shit. It was hell. That was awful.
Oh, the ringing affected you?
Yeah, it was so bad.
Well, imagine having all that shit jammed in your ear hole by chakra.
No, that's what I want to bring up. I though being one of the two weebs on the show, I forgot about the sound people. So seeing them because they're not in the fucking games at all.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
So to see them do their shit and use sound with chakra,
it's kind of cool. They're actually kind of cool.
Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I would love to see more of that.
Yeah, I remember them only because there's a moment coming up, medium soon, that's really badass in the manga. It's not that cool in the anime, but
why isn't Dosoo in any of the games with fucking...
I know, it's fucked. Sakura calls out for Dosoo to stop as Lee collapses, but the man ignores her pleas, preparing to finish the genin off. Refusing to stand idly by, Sakura fires a hail of kunai and shuriken at Lee's assailant, but they bounce off Dosoo's gauntlet with no effect. Team 10 looks on from the bushes a short distance away, and Shikamaru asks Ino what she wants to do now that Sasuke, Naruto, and Lee are all indisposed, leaving Sakura to stand alone against the Sound Ninja threat. Mm-hmm. Shikamaru wonders if Ino would be okay watching her former friend die, prompting, which pushes Ino into a flashback.
Which is something that I learned, that Ino's the team leader.
Yeah, kind of. They do refer to her a lot.
Because Shikamaru, I think generally he's the coolest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. But even to see him take a step back and be like, "Hey, Ino, what do we do?"
Also,
it's just refreshing. I think.
Yeah, I think at one point also soon they refer to the team, or she does, as Team Ino.
Oh yeah. Or they combine their names or whatever, and her name's first. Yeah.
No, before
they just say
they do say
I didn't even know that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, she is definitely the smartest of them, or at the very least, even if Shikamaru is very, very smart, he's so lazy that...
Okay, but speaking about Ino, look, the hair on everyone at this point so far, pretty believable, gonna be honest.
Yeah.
But Ino, what the fuck?
She puts in the effort, man.
No, but it's the one piece sticking out.
I know.
It's like Pikachu's tail.
Yeah, but that's all her, man.
I could do that to my hair right now.
That's ours.
Please don't.
Yeah, before the 5 days in the Forest of Death, she spent 5 days putting in fucking hairspray, man. Because you never know when you're gonna run up to Sasuke in the Forest of Death. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it must snap off. That's how fucking sick it is.
Well, so Ino, thinking about what would happen if Sakura died, flashes back to when they were very young and still very close friends. Sitting together on a bench, Sakura was struggling to speak, and Ino, kindly encouraged her. Eventually, Sakura asked if the rumors that Ino liked Sasuke were true.
I hated this.
Did we know that that's why they weren't friends?
Was that narrative at any point before?
No.
Before we started watching?
Well, like I said, when Ino ran up on them when they first got to the written portion of the tuning exams, that was pretty much all we'd seen.
Yeah. Well, so up to that point, they were just the rivals.
Yeah, we'd seen them yell at each other once
this scene,
before.
Knowing from the first episode, obviously, I think it hit harder for me, but and you as well probably. I was so ready for this. I really wanted to see Ino and Sakura, because at this point,
what's the arc? What's their journey?
Why do they hate each other?
That's what Raj is saying.
It's not even a dumb. Besides being a dumb reason, I think it's just another waste of character development for Sasuke again.
That's exactly it, because it's just them saying
it's a dumb reason, but it's a plague.
The whole thing where fucking Sakura was like, "Oh, you like him too? Well, now we must be rivals."
That was so dumb.
Right. Well, basically, Ino confirms the rumors, and Sakura stands up and declares that they will be rivals from that moment forward.
He can just decide which one he likes better, and they don't have to hate each other.
And honestly, it's neither of them.
Exactly. And they're still fighting over him. He's just
But that's just it's such boring character
very
to have it be
boring.
a boy.
Yeah.
It's very like, if I can reference the Toriyama work, you haven't seen Dragon Ball Z.
Sure.
The original they recently released Dragon Ball Z, I believe, Super Broly movie, which is fantastic from what I hear.
Yeah.
But the original movie, the reason for Broly hating Goku.
Yeah, you talk about this a lot. Yeah,
is because when they were kids, one night Goku just couldn't stop crying. Not kids, like they were toddlers, like maybe a month old. Goku just couldn't stop crying, and it kept Broly up all night.
Yeah, and that was the impetus for like this massive antagonist.
Yeah.
He literally held a grudge for about
that is similar. It's just
years.
that's hardly anything.
It is waste of character development.
Well, Ino tries to forget her past with Sakura, but as Shikamaru continues to prod, she trembles, not wanting Sakura to die, but not wanting to perish herself either. Sakura persists in her fight, throwing more shuriken, but Zaku's air blast repels them with ease.
Okay, bro, realistically, how big do you think her kunai bag is?
Probably like 8 inches.
Yeah, something
How
like
many
that.
fucking kunai can you fit in an 8-inch bag?
Oh, it's like a Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah, as many as they need.
Yeah.
That is some bullshit.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Because they emphasize the fact on Ninja Tools, they emphasize the fact that 5 days you have to survive for 5 days.
At least they have the pouch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but also I don't know. I just think that if you're really gonna, because I'm a total slut for the small things.
well, I'm sure it is limited. They haven't actually thrown that many. I mean,
She's
Sakura,
thrown like 12 already.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean,
They can
So-
like line up if they're really thin.
They are.
Yeah,
They're not,
yeah.
they're
Neji
not very
comfortably
wide.
threw one on the ground because he's like, I'll come back for it. It'll still
oh,
work.
Neji?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
They just throw
Well,
these shits around.
So they're probably, the kunais themselves are probably about the size of like a pen.
Yeah,
like,
and then like they're probably
lengthwise,
thin as shit
and they're
too.
very thin because
no, but they
throwing
held
knives,
up Naruto.
Yeah, but
Okay,
they're just
but-
really
They're
strong.
really heavy.
Yeah, but they're just strong though.
Yeah.
they're
you know?
probably like lead or steel or something. So they're fairly thin. They're probably like
Yeah, like a pen, like you were
like
saying.
a centimeter
I would
wide,
think smaller than that. No?
like long.
Yeah.
No, that's the shit
No, but
Haku had.
thinner.
Senbon.
But
Yeah,
like the size of a pen
No,
long.
No, but
is what
like
I'm
the
saying.
point is,
I
if
think he
they're
meant
really strong, they can be flat and thin, and they
Well,
can
it's
just
like
have a bunch.
So throwing knives, the way that they work is they're super strong because they're made of some
Strong metal. Yeah.
But because they're so thin, you have to keep them thin because that's the only way to keep them balanced to throw them.
Yeah.
Because if they're heavy, they won't
And,
throw.
they do actually
guess.
talk about having limited tools and stuff. Like in the Zabuza Haku
You guys
arc,
want
they
the-
talked about it a
but
lot.
they had like book bags. At least give them a book bag.
Sakura hasn't thrown that many though, man. I mean, like she throws like a handful, and that's like 4, you know, because it's
No,
in
but
two
it's
fingers.
not even just Sakura at this point. I think everyone in this world can throw a million things.
I don't know though,
Zazu
man.
threw like what 90 at that point.
Oh yeah. Well, and then but also sometimes it's just he meant Zaku.
I know.
Did I say Zazu again?
Yeah, many times.
Who the
From the
fuck?
Lion
Wait, what's
King.
his name?
Zaku.
I'm not gonna say his name right. He doesn't deserve that.
But yeah. Well, I also think that some of it is limited animation though, so they just draw a bunch of the quick
Probably.
lines and stuff. Yeah.
I guess it wasn't made for people to like.
Yeah, but they
question that
do
shit.
talk about it though. It's not like they just
Yeah,
brush
I know
over
it's
it.
an anime show. I'm
Yeah.
gonna let it go. But I just
yeah,
think
they
it's
probably don't
strange.
expect like the 12-year-olds that are meant to watch this
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
like, how many have they thrown?
But I think it. But honestly, like in all seriousness, I really do think that they talk about it more than I think you think they do.
Dude, I guess I just can't stop playing 4D chess. You know, that's how it goes.
Wait, what did you say earlier? 4D walls.
4D wall breaking.
I'm breaking.
Like you're
the
breaking
4D wall. I just can't stop. Guys, I really can't speak. I don't know what happened. I used to be a fantastic like reader and speaker, and then I got into like guys, I haven't started smoking weed till like college. So this happened in high school. I lost brain cells at some point. Somewhere along the line between sophomore year and senior year of high school.
Dude, that's what high school does.
Junior year happened.
Yeah, seriously.
My
point.
brain exploded. I lose what words are.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
high
speak
school,
now.
man.
That's
Fuck high
lose
school.
what
Junior
words
year
are.
I just want to go back to
If
being a
you're,
hunter-gatherer.
if you're out there in high school and you're like, oh man, these are the worst years of my life, and everyone's telling you, no, they're supposed to be the best, and you're crazy, and you're just being dramatic. No, high school is the worst.
It is terrible.
Other than maybe middle school.
Yeah.
Middle school did
I had
suck.
a worse time in middle school
Me
than
too.
high school.
But
Make the most of high school.
I just kind of hated all of it, and I was like, oh, it'll get better in college. It doesn't.
the point is, it gets
Oh,
better, but it
different
also gets
college.
worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets better, but it gets worse. But at the same point,
It's like some things get better, some things get worse.
But there will be new episodes of NaruTalk going forward every week, so your whole
Get
life
better.
gets better.
You'll
in a
break
way.
even eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
My goal is, I don't know, have I ever talked about my goal for NaruTalk?
Get to Disneyland.
Well,
Go to
that's
Avatar
like that's like the goal, but my personal goal for the show is, as much as I joke about it a lot, I think we can get to Evo. Not like on the grand stage,
just
but
just to like commentate or something.
No. I think we can. So like during one of the big shows,
Evo is the fighting game tournament. Shit.
right? Yeah,
Like the Olympics for fighting video games, basically.
and I think if we set up a small like maybe the TV in my room, like a 32-inch TV.
Yeah.
You get our switches there, whatever. And we get like a bunch of our supporters at the Evo like lobby, and we
just
run
play
our
Storm
own
3.
mini Storm 3 tournament.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It'd be so like amazing.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we'll even like have it outside like in front of Evo so everyone can join. That's truly my goal. So
Sakura, she throws the shuriken at Zaku, and he blows him back with ease. Then suddenly, Keen or something.
Hulu called him Kane.
Yeah, whatever her name is. The female sound ninja
Kay.
appears behind Sakura, grabbing her hair and forcing her to the ground, jerking her victim's head around. Keen mocks Sakura, I'm just going to say Keen, for having luscious hair and no ninja skills, encouraging Dosoo to kill Lee while she forces Sakura to watch.
You know what? She stepped up. She didn't do anything at this point. And she was like, you know what? These other two dudes
she
are
did.
doing something.
But also,
Kill Lee.
if you've ever had your hair pulled, it hurts.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Yeah, no, it's the
No,
worst.
and the animation is very violent of her jerking
Yes.
Sakura's head around.
And also, the more hair you have, the worse it hurts.
Yeah.
And fucking Sakura has a whole lot
Yeah,
of
a
hair.
ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Sakura protests, but Kin holds tight, and Sakura, exhausted and probably in a ton of pain, has very little strength left. She considers her uselessness, breaking into tears as she recognizes how the others who always save her need her help now, and she's failing them.
My heart was breaking.
Yeah.
I felt so bad, which is, I think, this episode's definitely Sakura's
Well,
best.
the last two were
Yeah.
kind of too. Like,
yeah. I think
actually,
these
well, we said it last episode, but the tuning exams, Sakura, since that fucking Sakura's depression chapter, she's like a whole new character.
I love it.
It's so exciting.
It's inspiring.
She's really growing, yeah.
I'm just glad, and unfortunately, it really does. I think at this point, someone in the studio was like, "Let's be self-aware about it," because this is the whole rant where she's going like, "Oh, they've always been taking lead."
Yeah, I think somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just like, all it took was for no one to be there for Sakura to shine.
Yeah.
Which is like her whole thing.
But
She's the best like
that's
academics.
great. Like, that's really good development.
Because I feel like, for at least everything that I've seen, it wasn't that she wasn't capable of like being like the head honcho.
Right.
It's that nobody gave her the chance.
Well,
to.
it's interesting you say that Ino is in charge of Shikamaru and Choji's group. Well, of course she is. Shikamaru's lazy as fuck and Choji's always eating. Yeah. Sakura just happens to have the bad luck of being on the most narcissistic emo bitch and Naruto's team. Yeah. And those two are, you would never get a word in edgewise.
The most narcissistic emo bitch and the most narcissistic other bitch.
Yeah.
Even Kakashi, man, he's kind of like...
Well, poor Sakura gets dumped on constantly.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's going to be when she doesn't have them, and it's just her that she's going to step up.
The whole thing, I think the entire, like, since the tuning exam thing that started, the whole... She's very... The emphasis on the fact that she's been isolated.
Yeah.
Because like, every time she would, like... They were given the entrance exam ticket... I can convince Sasuke not to go because she knows she can't do it.
Exactly.
So there's just like a huge push on that, and I'm finally glad that now this individualism is being used for good.
Well, while she thinks about all that, Zaku approaches Naruto and Sasuke, not noticing that Sasuke's curse mark has begun to like exude this menacing purple energy.
No one noticed that for so long.
Yeah, and he was just like smoking like a smokestack of purple. Yeah. Team 10 notes that the situation before them is sure to get real ugly real fast. But before they can decide what to do, Sakura pulls out a kunai and chops off her hair.
So, when she did it, it was quite possibly the most badass thing I've ever witnessed.
It was
fantastic. She
fantastic.
was so badass.
Please continue reading the outline so I can go into more depth with something that happens soon after.
Yes,
that.
of course. As her headband flies loose, Kin falls backwards, and Sakura considers how far behind Naruto and Sasuke she's fallen, and how many times they've needed to protect her. Furthermore, she acknowledges that Lee has done more for her than she's ever done for Sasuke. And, like, it's two hopeless romances, but she, like, realizes how, despite the fact that Lee's not even her teammate, rising to her feet, Sakura is determined to return the favors. Is that what you wanted to talk about? Or is there just more coming up?
No,
because she's in it now.
I think there's a line specifically, and I think it's coming up, but I'm not sure. I don't remember when it happened. Okay. It wasn't like a vital thing, but it happened, and I was like, oh, holy shit.
Well, tries to tackle Sakura, but Sakura substitutes to the side, firing a cluster of kunai towards Zaku. Zaku, however, was able to read Sakura's hand signs and predict the move, so he's prepared to send them back at her with a blast of air.
That was cool. He'd go like, I know that hand sign.
Yeah, which is really interesting. It's funny. Yeah, so he fires them back with a blast of air, and Sakura manages to substitute again, this time appearing in the air above Zaku and plunging towards him. While falling, she makes the substitution hand signs again, so when Zaku throws a handful of kunai at her to force her to substitute and move, he looks away to determine her next position of attack. Sakura, however, didn't substitute.
Bro, when the fucking kunai hit her
in the
air, bitch didn't even fly.
Blood drops down because Zaku looks away from Sakura and he's like, all right, where's she gonna be next? And then you see blood drop on him because Sakura just tanked the kunai.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah,
all four
kunai. Yeah.
The way he yells up, he's like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Her. Yeah, because she falls right onto him and stabs her own kunai through one of his arms and then bites down on the other one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Fucking incredible.
Yeah, this is a better action sequence. I mean, Sasuke had the one against Orochimaru, but this is more than I think Naruto's ever done.
Yeah.
Then Sakura is holding on to him by biting his arm.
Dear life.
And he starts just pummeling her head as she clings on.
Couldn't watch.
It was very, disgusting.
For me, I think the whole tactic of... At first, I was like, biting, man, you're, above that. What do you... But then, it got really intense. Yeah. And it became more than just biting. It was just pure, I have nothing left to lose.
It was just literally survival.
Exactly. Yeah, and Ino, looking on, again flashes back to their younger days. Now, between, as Ino remembers this, we just keep cutting back to Sakura, and her face gets more and more beat up. I didn't write it in every time, but while Ino was remembering, she just kept flashing to Sakura, getting just pounded away. In the flashback, Sakura cried alone over people bullying her for her forehead. Ino came over to introduce herself, encouraging Sakura to speak proudly. She joked about Sakura's forehead playfully, hidden by her bangs, and she informed Sakura that the bangs weren't doing her any favors.
Is this the famous forehead, she said?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But she's just sort of teasing her, you know?
I know
it's very playful. And what really hit in that scene, though, was when she was like, I'm Ino, what's your name? And she's like, I'm Sakura. And then she's like, no, say it proudly.
Yeah, I like that.
Know who you are.
Yeah.
The next day, the two met up in the same place, and Ino brought Sakura a ribbon with which to tie her hair back. Though Sakura was worried about showing her forehead, Ino told her how pretty she is, and that presenting herself with confidence would go a long way towards discouraging bullies. The two met up with other kids, and Sakura hid behind Ino sheepishly.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And then Ino helped to introduce her new friend. Then it cuts forward just a couple minutes, I guess, in that flashback, and Sakura declared how much she liked Sasuke, and the other girls were like, yeah, bitch, get in line.
I think they literally said, get in line.
Yeah. Still, with her newfound confidence, Sakura faced the opposition with glee, and Ino kind of feared the opponent that she'd created.
Yeah.
Sometime later, Sakura found out that Sasuke liked girls with long hair. That's why she's grown her hair out.
That was it.
Yeah, and Ino had also decided to grow her hair out to impress him.
Dude, I love that, because that implies at some point, Sasuke had to say, I like girls. Because this dude is so emo and heartless now, but at some point he was getting around.
That was the line.
Yeah.
Sasuke likes girls with long hair. This bitch just chopped all of her hair off.
Exactly.
To save Sasuke.
Yeah.
She just did as much for Sasuke as we did for her.
Not even... Oh, fuck. That's excellent.
She was like, he likes girls with long hair. I don't need him to like me. I just need to save his fucking life.
Yeah.
And bitch chopped it off. Incredible. Bitch has got a fucking lob. Looking cute as shit. She's like, I just did that.
Well, in the present, Ino looks at those sacrifices that Sakura's made. Her long hair strewn about the battlefield and that pretty face bloodied and beaten. And realizes that Sakura has surpassed her. Zaku manages to throw Sakura to the side, and as he prepares to finish her off, all Sakura can do is struggle to her feet to face her death head on. Before Zaku can kill her, however, Team 10 leaps between the two, prepared to save their compatriot, and Ino reaffirms her vow to never let Sakura outdo her.
I love this. I love all of that.
I loved it, but come on.
What?
Boy.
She's like, I told you I'd never let you beat me. Shut the fuck up. Just be nice.
Well, Sakura...
No, it's in character, you know.
It's in character,
no,
but
not even like
shut up.
Not even in character. It's in the same way that it's a realization for a lot of people.
But also, you'd feel pretty bad if you were Ino at this moment because Sakura just did like the most badass thing ever.
This is true.
And Ino's just kind of showing up with her fat boy and her lazy boy.
But like, there's just like a lot of... I don't know. I think a lot of characters. This is so. In my notes, I wrote this is very much similar to like, you know how in real life we like theme our lives to like a TV show.
Sure.
And I think this is where supporting characters start to become main characters.
Yeah, but that's awesome.
And I love that because especially because Ino now realizes, oh, I have to stop being such a bitch. And I have to and then Sakura realizes she can be powerful, you know, without the chip.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And even Lee, he was like, she likes me, and then died. You know.
The thing is, the Zabuza Haku arc, and we talked about this a little bit while we were covering it on the podcast, but Zabuza and Haku weren't designed by Kishimoto; they were designed by his assistant because Kishimoto's kind of bad at coming up with character designs, and he was building all these people, Choji, Hinata. That's while he was writing the Zabuza Haku arc, he was also designing them. So when you say it's like secondary characters, it's interesting because the anime introduced them earlier. But really, like, this was also kind of the first time they were being introduced, But you're right, though. They do give them killer arcs. Like, all right, episode 33. Sasuke floats through a serene golden void. We're not sure where we are. There, he sees his younger self. Young Sasuke recalls flashes of his parents' corpses, and suddenly this golden void becomes the scene of their parents' death, and young Sasuke laments not being strong enough to save them. Weird opening, kind of out of nowhere, and we don't really know what's going on. Outside, we see Sasuke, and he's been completely surrounded by that ominous purple aura.
Very pretty.
The purple?
I like it when they do, like when they showed Anko, or... Yeah, when they showed Anko during that one really pretty scene with all the color grades.
Yeah.
I just like whoever their background artist is, you rock.
That's true, actually,
Because we don't really
even the poorly animated episodes do have really nice backgrounds, Meanwhile, Dosoo promises that Team 10 will regret their interference, to which Choji insists they retreat. However, Shikamaru's low-key sexism won't allow him to let Ino do all the fighting.
I'm so glad you said that, because, no, for real, dude, that was fucked up.
Well, because he's not like, no, we're a team, we have to fight together. He's like, I'm not going to let a girl do all the fighting. That'd be a real drag.
Oh
he really said that. That'd be a real drag.
Yeah. No, and that's actually a theme, like, going throughout the series, is that Shikamaru's kind of sexist.
That's awful.
Yeah. I know.
Fantastic,
actually. Well, I bet it's honestly like a cultural difference in humor. Zaku commends Choji's intuition for wanting to run away, but he makes the deadly mistake of calling Choji a fatso while he tries to run. Choji freezes his comical escape attempt and dares Zaku to say that one more time. One more time, bitch. Foolishly following the command, Zaku calls Choji fat again. At this, Choji whips around, furiously declaring that he's just big-boned and unleashing what he calls his chubby power.
I'm just a little chubby. Man, I love this guy.
Yeah.
Iconic.
Dude,
oh my gosh.
They do it, I think it happens every other episode or every few episodes, but they have a dark note ending the last, and then it's just this wacky banjo-ass thing happening.
Yeah, the theme even was, like, because this is building up to a big fight, and the theme music was like... This
episode, what was it called? Ino Chikacho?
Yeah.
Dude, I used to annoy the fuck out of my family, because for some reason, I think I just knew that, like... that Ino Chikacho, and I would constantly go, Ino Chikacho, Ino Chikacho. I don't know why, but like that's what like all my like 9-year-old brain would fuck with. I would just like stare at a wall and go, Ino Chikacho. So weird.
Well, Ino is actually pleased that Zaku has riled Choji up, instructing Sakura to look after the rest of Team 7 while Team 10 battles the Sound Ninja. and the three unleash that battle formation, Inashika-cho. First, Choji uses his super expansion jutsu to transform into a human boulder.
He literally was so mad that they called him fat and then became a giant ball.
Yes.
That was his...
Well, he's just big boned, Katie.
Okay, but also, he's just body positive and doesn't appreciate people calling him fat. He literally said, I'm just a little chubby. Like, he knows. He's not like, I'm not fat. He was like, I'm just a little fat.
Yeah.
That's true.
God, Katie, why do you hate
I
fat
just thought
people?
it was funny that that's what they decided. They were like, oh, you know what he would do?
Yeah.
He hates fat people.
Can you make an air horn that says Katie hates fat people?
No! Not what I meant.
No, but I think that's probably why he's so self-conscious about his body, is that his jutsu specialty is to do with growing his body, you know?
That's true.
So it's like people are ostensibly making fun of him for his power. So not only is it body positive, he's owning up to his strongest ability.
Maybe that's why he eats all the time. It's because he needs to have all that energy to be a big ball of...
I mean, I imagine it takes a ton of energy to be a giant boulder.
Can we make the next podcast lore for this season that Katie hates fat people like we did Emma is racist?
Yeah.
That's my favorite bit, is that we convinced so many people that Emma is
and so you want to do that Katie hates fat people?
Well, she does.
Why?
Well, you do.
Yeah, well, famously she does. Actually, dead ass though, I think Emma actually did hate fat people.
No, she really did. And she told us a story about
No,
it.
stop. No. Don't expose Emma. No.
She literally...
She's not here anymore. She doesn't know.
Specifically,
She literally
she
told
hates
us
fat
specific
children.
Stories. Yeah, fat children.
Okay,
they scare her.
Guys,
So
they're just
what we'll do
chubby.
is we'll take that fact about Emma and just put it on Katie.
Why?
Katie, why
I
do you
don't
hate
want
fat people?
that
Why do
part
you
of
hate fat
Emma.
kids, Katie? What
Anyways,
is
so
wrong with
fat
you?
kid Choji, Katie, turns into a human boulder and rolls towards Zaku. Damn it. Zazu. Whatever. The sound ninja attempts to repel the attack with air, but Choji leaps over the airstream, plummeting towards his foe at fatal speed. There's a lot of jumping and then plummeting down towards someone in this show. Dosoo rushes towards his teammate, desperate to push him out of Choji's trajectory, but Shikamaru unleashes his shadow possession jutsu.
So
I'm glad he's finally
that
doing
was
something.
cool.
Badass.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, we're finding out all of their special. The only one we knew was Ino's.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even then we only saw in the context of
Cheating on a test.
Yeah.
Well, basically, Shikamaru's shadow lurches towards Dosoo's, and when the two shadows meet, Dosoo is frozen where he stands. Zaku manages to avoid Choji's fall, but Dosoo is trapped and is forced to mimic every move that Shikamaru makes. He sort of
Funny as fuck.
does like a weird little thing with his arms to show
He's
that.
just making fun of him.
Yeah. Ino takes charge against Keen, utilizing that mind transfer jutsu that we saw during the written test to possess the opponent, which leaves Ino's real body limp, and it falls into Shikamaru's arms.
That was me falling.
Yeah, the sound of her body falling unconscious. Oh, Shikamaru, catch me. Choji continues to chase Zaku, who calls out to Keen, but Ino, now in the woman's body, holds a kunai up to her neck, commanding them to leave their scroll and retreat. Alright, listen. So this doesn't work because the sound ninjas are sociopaths.
Yes.
But this is a good-ass strategy.
Well, wait, but was she
is a good-ass
assuming
strategy.
that they don't know how her whole thing works?
I assume so.
Okay.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know. You know?
Yeah, that's true. But then they just tested it, and then they were like, "Oh well."
Right.
They were like,
But so going forward, I'm going to describe how this falls apart. But this Inashika-cho strategy,
It works.
it's fucking badass.
It's valid,
Yeah.
Distract them with Choji, catch them with Shikamaru, and then possess one of them with Ino.
This plan will fall apart if they're not fighting three people. That's the problem.
I guess so.
That's fair.
Well, unfazed by Ino's threat, Zaku uses an air blast to force Choji's rolling body into Keen's, which hurls her into a tree, causing both her and Ino's unconscious body to spit up blood.
Do you think if they're only fighting two people, they go by Inashika?
No, because it's still all three of them.
No. It's like a...
No, it's still the Inashika-cho formation.
No, they
Still
can't
all
do
three
it,
of
you
them.
know?
Yeah, I think they can.
They just would probably attack somebody.
If Choji
twice.
attacks someone, and then Shikamaru paralyzes... say they're fighting... Will they be fighting two... Yes, they're fighting two people.
Yeah.
And then Shikamaru paralyzes them. What's
They've
Ino gonna
already
do?
won.
Yeah, well, so Ino can just set this one out. But then
it's just
But she
Shika-cho.
she still probably came up with it.
Well, I don't want to throw her name on there. She's not doing anything.
Well, I would argue opposite. You don't want to take her name off just because you didn't need her this round.
Shika-cho, they're doing it. She's just standing there.
No, that's mean. You would still keep her name on it, you know?
I guess.
Yeah.
I just want to snap her hair off.
I can't believe you don't like Ino that much. I think she's so
Raj
charming.
doesn't like anybody on this show.
That's kind of true.
Fucking Lee.
I don't want to be a... Okay, I do love Lee. Okay, here, I'll list off the characters I like. Number 1, Lee. Number
That's
2,
it.
Lee.
Yeah.
Number 3, Neji.
We've seen Neji like twice.
And I'm in love with him. Alright, problem?
Well, yeah, so Ino and Keen spit up blood.
Yeah.
Choji then ceases he's just been rolling around in the background pretty much, and he ceases his assault, and he's like really nauseous and really dizzy. Because he kind of has, though. Like,
I forgot he was a boulder for a second. I thought he was just flopping around.
Yeah. Well, Ino in Keen's body can't understand why the sound ninja would attack their teammate. But Dosoo reveals that their lives and their success in this part of the test don't matter.
Yeah.
Their only goal is to kill Sasuke.
Which is so scary.
Yeah. Shikamaru's shadow retracts, and Dosoo deduces both the limits of the shadow possession jutsu and that anything that happens to the body Ino possesses during her mind transfer jutsu will happen to her real body too.
Which
Dosoo
is kind of
deduces.
crazy.
Yeah.
That should be a little mini-series.
Dosoo does. Yeah, he could start a podcast, and that would fit his brand of sound. He could like shoot it out of his gauntlet, and it would be like, "Hi everybody, welcome back to."
That's so funny.
He's just talking into his arm.
Available everywhere you can hear.
Right. Well, Zaku prepares to fire an air blast to finish off Ino and Keen in one fell swoop.
They're about to kill.
Yeah,
straight
while
up.
Zaku prepares, Dosoo mocks not only Team 10, but also the whole Leaf Village. He's like, oh, this is nothing but a village of weaklings, and fools, and cowards. And then Neji shows up. Motherfucking Neji and Tenten. And they're like, you think this is all fools? Say that to a real fucking ninja, you bitch.
Neji's about to clap cheeks.
Oh, he's about to clap cheeks. My God, I got chills when he showed up. Oh,
I
God
hate who
damn.
you just became when
No, but like the way,
I think it was incredible.
because he shows up and immediately he's like Byakugan, and Dosoo is terrified.
He's blown away.
Yeah.
He's like fucking. Oh, he's not looking around. He's looking through us.
Yeah.
which is
And like, I guess Tenten doesn't really say anything, but just the way that Neji just like whips his dick on the table, man, it is badass. However, before Neji can engage the sound ninja, he detects a strong chakra and declares that the situation is taken care of without his aid.
I like this scene because a big thing for me that I like to think in the back of my head when I watch the show is that this is still a cartoon.
Yeah.
And in between those two scenes, there's for one brief second, Dosoo goes, well, what are you gonna do up there? Come down and do something about it? Or
Yeah. But then he's
stay?
like, I don't even have to.
Nah, it's over.
Everyone looks over to see what Neji's referring to, just in time to witness Sasuke be entirely concealed by that purple aura.
which was insane.
Yeah, we cut back to that golden void, and young Sasuke panics about his lack of strength. Then suddenly, he looks up at Sasuke with like this demonic grin, you know? And he coyly mocks him for just watching as his clan was slaughtered. Then, young Sasuke digs into his eye and peels his skin away. And what do you know? It's Orochimaru underneath.
Quick side note here. Another iteration of Hulu subtitles suck total ass.
Yeah.
When Sasuke gets up and he goes, my entire clan's been destroyed, Hulu corrected that too, and again, more photo proof.
Yep.
He goes, my whole plan has been destroyed. Which, gonna be honest, my volume is low. Whole different thing happening.
Sorry, what? Yeah. If you want to see all these fucked up screenshots that Raj takes of Hulu, just join the Discord.
I'll send them there. I'll send
NaruTalk,
them right
Patreon.
now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll wait till this episode comes out.
Right,
and then
yeah,
I'll
that
send
makes
it.
sense. But basically, this vision of Orochimaru decries Sasuke's lack of power. Back in the forest, we cut back and the purple aura explodes outwards, and Sasuke rises. We only see his silhouette, but he's glowing with this newfound strength.
This was pretty.
Yeah.
I want to get that tattooed on my back.
Honestly, I think a lot of people have.
Yeah, probably.
The purple flame of the whole curse mark shit is popular.
Right, so Sasuke steps into the light, and first thing he says, it's just plain and simple. He's like, Sakura, who did this to you?
That was
Okay,
insane.
not gonna lie, hottest shit I've
Hot
ever
as
heard.
fuck. Yeah, honestly.
Dude, straight up Christian Grey had
Yeah,
that shit.
no.
But like that's
Not
every
even,
girl's
yeah,
dream to
exactly.
have like the hot guy sticking up. He like, who did this? to you? And I
Yeah,
was
he
like,
comes
I
out,
don't
he's
know.
only got one thing on his mind. Who hurt Sakura?
Oh,
yeah.
I was like, oh
yeah,
man.
But like you were saying, everyone is shocked to see there's this weird black, it's like a flame-shaped tattoo-like marking that's spread out from the curse mark and covers half of Sasuke's body. His Sharingan is fully activated, the purple energy still radiating off of him, and Sakura asks if he's okay. Sasuke declares that he's better than okay. He's more powerful than ever, thanks to Orochimaru's gifted strength. He reveals that he's had an epiphany. He is an Avenger, and he must have the power to... Yeah.
Dude, that just line through me. Like, the immersion. I know, when this came out, the Avengers weren't a thing, but now watching it blew my mind. I was like, this should be a cool moment, but I can't stop laughing.
Anybody listening, please edit Sasuke into Endgame.
I bet that's a thing, actually. I'm pretty sure there is a YouTube edit Naruto Endgame.
No, if there's something out there, Naruto's in it.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. But yeah, he, as silly as it sounds, he does declare himself an Avenger and says that he must have the power to achieve his revenge at any price, even if it means following an evil path. The Sound Ninja, naturally, are terrified, recognizing Sasuke's power and shocked that he survived obtaining the curse mark, which, if you remember, Orochimaru said there was only a 1 in 10 chance. Still, Sasuke simply demands to know who hurt Sakura.
Sakura, again, annoyed me a little. Just say something.
Oh, well, no, I think she's scared.
You know, she's in
awe.
shock. I know, it's just one of those, like, petty little nitpick things of mine, but just,
You
if
have
I
so
was there,
many
it'd be different.
I don't know if you can say that, Raj, because you've never had one of your friends become a monster.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, hey, come on.
Yeah.
Also, Raj, it seems like a lot of your petty nitpicks are just, I'm not in this cartoon.
That's not what I would have done if I was named
If I was
character.
it would have been different. All I'm saying. Sound guy, get out of here.
Well, so Sakura doesn't answer, but Zaku, this fucking idiot, boasts that it was all his doing, and Sasuke turns towards him with all his wrath.
Dude,
And-
this guy
I know.
straight up
If only
fucking...
Sasuke could look at me like
I
that.
know.
This dude tested his luck twice. Not only did he call Choji fat twice, he
Yeah,
was
he
like,
owned up to
he's
hurting
like,
Sakura.
"All me. I beat the shit out of Sakura."
Like, we all know that guy.
Yeah, seriously,
And
he's
I
such
got
a Chad.
so mad.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then Sasuke turned it around and I was like, you can fight me.
And for those who aren't watching the episodes we watch onto the podcast, I don't think we emphasize enough. Sakura's like destroyed. She's like bleeding.
Oh yeah, no, her face
heavily.
is fucked up.
Even though they could have fucked it up so much more, and I was kind of a little bit sad that they didn't.
Yeah,
It's
Because-
still PG.
Yeah, but
That's true.
like they could have done a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like make her a little
But
puppy.
we already
like, she
had
like,
Jesus holes. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But it's not a pretty sight though, really. Shikamaru, recognizing the danger of the battle to come, has hidden in a nearby bush and shouts for Ino to return to her body, which he's dragged there with him, and for Choji to join them on the sidelines. Then, the markings on Sasuke glow orange and spread further across his body.
Man set on fire.
Yeah, as he stares down Zaku, and Dosoo can almost see Orochimaru snarling behind the boy, whose overwhelmingly powerful chakra has terrified him. It's an interesting thing to see Dosoo get scared.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who's been like... I mean, you talked about, to some extent, how much they went out of their way to make Dosoo seem creepy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for him to get creeped out...
It kind of is very, like... It put a whole lot of things in perspective.
Yeah,
Because
seriously.
I feel like we were all like, oh yeah, well the fucking whatever mark.
Yeah.
It like, yes, he's like powerful and like it's scary and
Right.
whatever. But then the second that he gets... like he's like afraid, you're like, oh shit, this is
Yeah.
like a real thing.
And it's interesting because Dosoo knew that Sasuke wouldn't survive the curse mark, and we know that Anko has one too. So it's possible that these guys have seen the curse mark's power before. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like,
They probably have.
yeah. So you're right about the perspective, and just Dosoo has it. Zaku, however, does not grasp the weight of the situation at all. Unleashing, he's like, this is my strongest
No,
attack.
but like this looked amazing.
It did look cool, yeah.
Yeah.
He shoots out this massive sonic blast and everyone in the area has to cover up their ears, and it shows them, and it's all distorted.
Yeah.
It's very cool. And it tears up the entire forest floor where Team 7 was. Zaku is sure that he's annihilated his targets, but Sasuke just appears behind him.
Oh.
Yeah, and he's moved Sakura and Naruto out of the way.
So.
And then with a single blow, like he doesn't even look at Zaku, he just throws his hand out, and Zaku fucking goes flying.
That was like the most like limp ass hit I've ever seen.
Well, because that's how powerful he is right now. He just had to be like bam, and Zaku was fucking finished.
He like flicked him. He was like,
exactly. It was badass as fuck. Zaku rolls to Dosoo's feet, and Sasuke follows up his attack with the Phoenix Flower Jutsu, which shoots a bunch of fireballs. Zaku manages to blow out the flames with an air blast, but Sasuke has concealed shuriken within the blaze, and they tear away at Zaku, forcing him to close his eyes and curl up into a defensive position.
Good use of ninja tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
It's similar to they did this thing, windmill shadow shuriken jutsu or something.
Demon Wind Shuriken.
Yeah. And Sasuke threw this giant shuriken, and Naruto was hiding. Yeah, and it's I love when they do that.
They showed that this episode.
Oh, they did actually.
Or the one before.
There was a flashback. I don't write the flashback sequences in the outline, because you can just listen to the old episodes.
Yeah.
Right, but taking advantage of the fact that Zaku has had to curl up into that defensive position, Sasuke runs up to his foe, kicking him to the ground. All right, so I got to paint a picture of sort of the position that they were in. Basically, he kicks Zaku over onto like all fours, and then Sasuke puts his foot on Zaku's back and grabs both of his arms and twists them around so that basically Zaku would be on all fours, but his arms are pulled behind his back, and Sasuke's pushing down with his foot.
Question: can normal arm people not do that?
No, we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
normal armed people.
yes and
famously
no.
diligent.
Podcast people, some who may not know. Last season with Ali and Emma, I shared one of my biggest insecurities was my double jointed broken spider arms, and now Katie.
I also have this.
Katie also has double jointed broken spider arms. She's the second and only other person for me to find who has this.
Yay.
It's fun.
If you have some, send pictures. I would love to be with my own kind.
But arms can do that. I mean, it hurts.
Yes. So if you're not double jointed, it's a little bit harder to get them both. Like
Okay.
I can sit like this with my arms behind my back. But imagine somebody grabbing it and pushing your
yanking it
body
away,
away from your arms.
I'd rather have a little bit of pain than have double jointed arms. That's my thing, but
It's
it would
painful
hurt
even with
either
my
way.
arms.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
exactly.
somebody's
Right
pushing
now.
your body away from your
Yeah,
body.
no,
trust me, I get it hurts. I would just like to have normal arms. That's
Oh, right. So it's unrelated. Ross just wants to have not double jointed arms.
Yeah.
Sasuke smiles menacingly, and Ino, even from the sidelines, shivers at the dark nature of Sasuke's energy. Then he presses down on Zaku's back, pulling at his precious arms, and Sakura looks on, horrified, as the screen goes red, and Sasuke pushes down, pulls back, and snaps this motherfucker's arms.
That effect though was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
red
So
screen. Yeah.
simple. But you heard the fucking snap, and then it just went red, and you see the shock in everybody's face. Because I don't think anybody was like, oh, he's not gonna fucking do it. And then he fucking did. This bitch winged him like a chicken.
And what we talked about how when Shino and Kiba and Hinata killed those guys with the slugs, how like dark that was, and how because as much as these guys fight, it's mostly like, oh, punch, 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 do a flip, throw some kunai. But this is kind of different.
Yeah.
Sasuke
This
was
is not even fighting.
Yeah.
Sasuke could easily have just pushed him over and been like, I'm not joking.
right.
But
He was
fucking
way out of Zaku's league.
literally dislocated and broke both of his arms.
Yeah, and it's disgusting and very powerful.
So I have a question for Liam here.
Yeah.
So you guys wouldn't. I don't think you'd get this yet, but last season when what was that little kid's name from the Inari. His dad or his like stepdad,
Kaiser,
whatever.
yeah.
Kaiser. Remember when he like they crucified him? They had Jesus holes.
Yeah, they actually did crucify this guy. Yeah, we talked about
and
it.
his
On the
arms, how they became purple or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they like in the original they like
cut off his arms,
Yeah.
but they had to draw them in. Yeah.
in the original did they like rip his arms off? Because I thought that's what Sasuke was in.
No,
Okay.
he did just break them. Yeah, I actually thought that too when I was rewatching. I was like, did they tear off his arms or something weird like
Yeah.
that? No, Sasuke, he broke them in both. Yeah.
Okay.
I've started reading along with the manga at the same time, just ever since that Sakura's depression chapter, man. I feel so bad about that. Turning to Dosoo, Sasuke marches towards the final enemy. Sakura, however, restrains him in a hug.
So nice.
Sobbing at the horrific killer that Sasuke has seemingly become. Like, this is not him.
This is a it's a bad.
That moment
Also-
was so sweet.
It was like you feel it.
Yeah.
You do feel
Because
it.
you
Yeah.
feel that moment where Sakura's like, absolutely not.
Right.
Like, you're one of the strongest fighters that I know, but this is not you, and you need to stop.
And you were right, because when he came back and he was like, who did this to you? That is hot as shit. Like straight, like not even a joke. Like that's hot
Yeah.
and that's cool. And he was there to save the day, and he was the big strong man that she has this huge crush on. And she needed to have the strength to be like, this is fucked. I need to stop this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the scene in every like cheesy rom-com where like the girl's like in love with the bad boy, and like the big jock was like bullying her, and then the bad boy beats the shit out of the jock, and the girl's like, what the fuck are you doing? That was that.
That gets me every time. I played Life is Strange, guys. I'm a sucker for that shit. Sure.
Does that happen in it?
It does.
Okay.
And it happens, depending on what you do, to the opposite situation, where the nerd beats the shit out of the bully. And it is
Those are my favorite.
Oh,
But
I love them both.
But yeah, because Sakura's crying as she hugs Sasuke, but it's like a whole new meaning to it. Like, this is strong.
And the hug itself is like such a broken moment because she runs up behind him and just like
throws herself around
completely
him.
wraps herself around him, and he just stands there like defeated.
Yeah.
Not defeated because he lost, defeated because he just did that.
Yeah,
and I think
and
that's
he has to
finally
come
when
to
it
terms
clicks
with it.
in his head that he's like, holy shit, I now have this power that he
And look how I've been using it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And he looks into her eyes, which are like pleading with
Yeah.
him to stop. And the curse mark recedes. All those flames and stuff go back into just those 3 markings.
I think, I don't know.
Oh god.
I don't know. I just think he was doing it more so, because he said he's an Avenger. He thinks he's doing good, you know?
Well, that was when it was out.
it was like
the
manipulating
second
his
she
mind.
hugged him and they made eye contact, he went back to like.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's like an adrenaline
So I
high
think
of-
in his head, because the power, it's the same when the Ninetales comes out of
Yeah.
Naruto. He's
Yeah.
not Naruto anymore. He's Naruto with Ninetales inside of
Exactly.
him.
Okay,
So
yeah.
he becomes this creature and this monster.
And now that you say that, that's actually fascinating that they showed young Sasuke peeling his face away to be Orochimaru, because obviously that was all in Sasuke's head, and so not only can we say, oh no, it was Orochimaru's influence, literally we saw what Sasuke is seeing is Orochimaru fucking with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, like, evil
Literally,
talk
what
that
he
was...
is all of the power and anger that Sasuke has built up since he was a child when the entire clan and his family died.
Yeah.
You have all of that anger plus Orochimaru inside of him.
Yeah. Not
That's
sexually.
literally, it was literally
Oh no.
it was literally a visual representation of what is happening.
Wow, actually, until you said that, I did not think of that way. That's
Okay,
really
that's
interesting.
good.
So the curse mark recedes, and Sasuke falls to the ground in like a ton of pain. Still, Dosoo recognizes that he can't beat Sasuke, and also he's alone now, because when Ino left Keen's body, Keen like fell to the ground unconscious. And now, of course, Zaku has both his arms broken, so he's unconscious. And so Dosoo grants Team 7 his Earth Scroll and grabs his teammates to retreat, promising, though, that they won't run if they ever come to blows again.
Yeah. It's just so stupid.
Also, it's interesting, I don't know if we remember this, but Team 7 had a Heaven Scroll, and Orochimaru burned it up. Like, when they went into the forest, they had a Heaven Scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ate
so they... At the beginning of these episodes, they had no scrolls, and now they've swapped to an Earth Scroll.
Now there's only one.
But they
scroll.
still only have one, yeah. Before Dosoo can leave, Sakura demands answers from him on who Orochimaru is and what he's done to Sasuke. But Dosoo admits that he knows nothing more than she does. This is what we were alluding to earlier.
I genuinely think this is my favorite Dosoo moment.
Yeah?
The way, because it was just,
It's human.
it's very poetic. He's like, I don't know
Yeah,
anything.
no, it's vulnerable. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know Orochimaru.
the Sound
I don't know
Ninja were commanded to assassinate Sasuke. That's why they're in the Chunin exams. That's the whole point of him having the gauntlet, Zaku having the Jesus holes, Keen also being there. It's all to assassinate Sasuke. So then why did Orochimaru reveal himself to them? Why is Orochimaru there? Why did he gift Sasuke the Curse Mark's power? And how did Sasuke survive obtaining it? Dosoo...
has literally no idea.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Like, I just love.
Yeah.
I do agree, Liam, very much. So it's very him. He's like, I don't know. I don't know why Orochimaru gave you power and then let us go out.
What's cool is not only does it humanize Dosoo, it further alienates Orochimaru.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
these sound guys who were the creepiest things in the world for a while they can't
They're
even...
nothing.
They
Yeah.
just have no idea. Yeah.
No clue.
And they're on Orochimaru's team. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
With the Sound Ninja gone, Team 10 reemerge. Ino goes to check on Lee, and Shikamaru and Choji rush to Naruto. Neji, still in the tree with Tenten, considers the abnormality of Sasuke's chakra, though he seems to think that that's just what Uchiha are like.
Which was It's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Maybe they think Uchiha can
wow,
beat the
I never knew the power of the Uchiha clan, and I was
well,
like, what?
since they're all wiped out except Sasuke, I imagine that there's like rumors, it's like, oh, this once great clan, now it's just this boy.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. Naruto has begun to wake up, verbally dreaming about saving Sakura.
Speaking of, it was only in these past few episodes, but the only people who have now seen Naruto's Nine Tails is Sasuke, Sakura.
Yeah.
No one else has seen it, which is also like a whole... That's like a taboo-ass thing.
Right, yeah.
You can't talk about it, so now these...
Well, the kids don't even know about it.
Yeah, no, they don't. But just Kakashi felt it.
Right, well, Kakashi knows, because he's from the older generation.
Yeah.
None of the kids know that the Nine Tails ever existed.
But, I wonder if that, like... Again, as much as I don't really remember much of this shit, but, like, I wonder if that comes into play later. Like... Dude, does like Sakura and Sasuke snitch at one point? Like, remember that one time in the forest?
Well, they know that Naruto has this weird power, but well, basically nobody knows about the Nine Tails. Naruto doesn't know what it is. None of the kids know about it because it was decreed that no one could talk about it so that Naruto wouldn't be ostracized. But then the kids just learned it from their parents, who were there when the Nine Tails
just posted up with Kakashi one day, like, hey, Naruto, remember that one time you put on the whole fursuit and just started punching a giant snake? Remember that?
But, so Naruto begins to wake up and he's sort of...
Caught him lacking in the wet dream, bro.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is, because he's mumbling about saving Sakura, and Choji and Shikamaru sort of playfully argue over who gets to kick him awake and save him from more embarrassment.
Like, this is embarrassing, what a drag.
And then, hard cut to a very dramatic ending. Sakura gazes at Sasuke, equally concerned and horrified by the power he's just unleashed. Sasuke, trembling uncontrollably, grabs his own arm to gaze at his hand, which he observes in awe, confounded by the dark energy now coursing through his veins. And that's the end of 33.
Ooh. Yeah.
And all 3 of the episodes that we watched this week.
I'm tired.
I know. These are dense episodes. Obviously, this section now, what did you think?
I absolutely love these episodes. I think these are the first 3 episodes in a long time that I really liked. And I don't know if that's just the way I read, because I was telling Liam earlier, so I usually, when I watch Naruto episodes, it's either like late afternoon or like just the middle of the night. And unfortunately, I watched episode 31 at like 3 a.m. last night, and then I fell asleep during the scene where Rock Lee was getting distorted through time and space through his ears.
Yeah, that's a weird place to fall asleep.
So I woke up. Unfortunately, I woke up way beyond. I was in like episode 45, 50. I was in those ranges.
Oh, okay.
I went to sleep for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I watched them in the morning, and that's when I had like all my like daily dose of serotonin and all that shit still there. So just I felt way more emotion. There was a lot of fear. Episode 31. That vision of the ripped.
Yeah, Sakura's PTSD from fighting Orochimaru in the last set of episodes is really pretty visceral.
It's great. Yeah. And then I love the episode 32, 33. Very dark, yet very like I like the little cartoony bits, and they contrast well. We didn't talk about it, but Shikamaru also had a cartoony bit where they're behind the bush and he does like a Sakura Chaw thing. Yeah. Where he has his own little internal monologue.
But he turns and he's like, what a drag.
And I love that stuff so much.
That's interesting.
And then again, all the force behind.
Nice background.
As much as the wacky banjo art that happens, there's hard hitting realizations and a lot of foreshadowing.
Yeah. Do either of you have like an opposite opinion? Like do either of you not particularly care for these episodes?
I liked them a lot.
I like them more than you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, just all of the... Because I always try to pick up on symbolism and things and, like, what things mean and what it could be interpreted to be. And there was so much of that in these episodes, especially the last episode, that it just made my little heart happy. And I got out of class. I always watch the episodes the day that we record, just because I like to have it fresh in my brain. And I got out of class early today, so I was like, I get to watch them and have, like, free time, and it was so exciting. And I got all cuddled up in my bed, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh my god, and then Katie walked in, and I was like, go away, I'm trying to watch it.
Katie, what did you think of these?
I really like these a lot. Last week, I remember wanting to continue watching, but being like, I can't, because I'll forget everything that happened, and then I completely forgot Naruto existed over the week, and then, like, came back to watch it today. I was like, oh, right, this! I got so excited. I didn't even write down when the episode changed because I just like immediately went to the next episode.
They were
like
seamless.
Wanted to see what happened next.
Well, it's interesting because the animation quality in these is not good.
And
but it goes back to very dense episodes, and just even though the animation is pretty stilted, there's so much happening that you can't even really tell. A little note that I have. there was a time when Shikamaru was fighting Dosoo. He said, "Oh no, you don't, mummy man. Time to put you under wraps."
Beautiful.
Now I never write down lines when I'm doing the outline, but oh my god, that's
and
good.
then actually the scene after that where Dosoo, he's caught and he's like, "What is this, a paralysis trap?" And he's like, "No, it's actually my shadow capture jutsu. Get your jutsus right, bro."
Yeah.
That shit was Shikamaru, man. He's a great comic relief.
But yeah. These are very dense episodes.
Heavy.
I don't know. I think I only didn't like them because when so much happens in these episodes, it's really hard to write the outline. So these are my least favorite ones. The ones that are really shitty and nothing happens, I'm like, ooh, yes, 1 page of writing instead of 4. Yeah, but yeah, no, they were good. They were definitely interesting. A lot happens.
I love them.
Yeah.
I know it's only going to go even better from here.
Yeah.
Keep watching. Keep tuning in.
All right, let's get into some reader responses. First up, we're going to do a couple of shout-outs to our patrons. If you want to help support the podcast, you can go to www.patreon.com/NaruTalkPod. There's all sorts of tiers, and at the $5 tier, you get to listen to our monthly bonus show, Ryu Radio. Right, which is really great. The episode that we put up for September is a lot of fun, and you really shouldn't miss it. And you also get a shout-out on the podcast. This week, our shout-out is to Getting Tier patron Glenn Federico. Who's also the guy who did the logo art for us. He's the guy that made
homie.
the Naruto. Yeah.
The best boy.
But he also decided to support the podcast, which is really fantastic and nice of him. And then, of course, we always shout out our 2 $10 tier patrons, Dave Mata and Nina Kelly. They're the
fantastic people.
Yeah, they're absolutely great. Dave Mata, Punk Rock Santa, Nina Kelly, the
best
one
in the world, the purest. Honestly, you know what? I went to their room last night, unprompted, no reason, and they just let me sit down and watch them play Danganronpa 2.
Yeah.
And they're so heartwarming. After I recently had some trouble at school with authorities and such, and after I beat that case, fuck the police, guys. I walked up to Nina in their door, knocked on them, and they're like, "Good morning, Raj." It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, "Good morning." I was like, "Nina, can I get a hug?" And they're like, "Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
nice.
you can."
Yeah. Both of these, Dave is also super active in the Discord, which is really
Amazing.
great.
So nice.
We love talking to you.
Yeah, no,
Dave.
he's incredible, and just these two really jumped on early and helped give a lot of support, so they mean a lot to us.
Appreciate it so much.
Anyways, you can let us know what you think of the episodes and us. Ask questions, let us know what you think, tell us how you're listening, give comments, whatever, at any of our social media and things like that. Our email is narutalkpod@gmail.com. Our Facebook is NaruTalk, the Naruto ShipPodcast. Our YouTube is NaruTalkPod. Instagram and Twitter are both at NaruTalkPod. You can use the hashtag NaruTalkPod, NaruTalk, NaruTalkers, whatever. It's all I use social media for, so I'll see it. Our website is narutalk.wordpress.com. And as I said, our Patreon is www.patreon.com/NaruTalkPod. I've said it for the past couple weeks, but I did spend $150 on this microphone, and so if you can help, it was like an emergency. Our old mic broke, and so we're in the red right now quite a bit.
We want to go to Disneyland.
Yeah. But there's also tiers on there. Like we've said, $2 gets you in the Discord, $5 that's a shout out and the bonus episodes, $10 you get to choose what a bonus episode is about. Ninu actually is picking what we do for Rio Radio episode 2.
We're excited.
We're doing a series that Nina requested, so that's going to be really good. And then, as you get higher, you get more and more rewards. $25, it's physical merchandise, and it gets higher.
It's good stuff.
But yeah, you really want to hear that bonus episode. Links for all of that stuff is in the description below. And now we're going to get into some of those reader responses.
I'll go first. It's a brief one, but very appreciated. It was a YouTube comment from Jake Says, I believe, and it is, "Nice podcast. I subbed. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
we
honestly,
appreciate it.
that's and you know what? That's all we need. It's just a little something. It really helps to let us know that you're listening and that you support us. Like that means a lot. Katie?
Yeah, I was also going to read a YouTube comment. Oscar White said, "This is pretty funny, man. Keep it up. Looking forward to new videos."
Yeah, and you know what? That's awesome. Even brief stuff like that, it really means a lot to us. Yeah. All right, Raj, you have a little bit of a special one this week.
Yeah. So I'm reading Instagram comment from @gimme_your_dog. I heard Raj talk about Paranoia Agent on the episode when Orochimaru is introduced, and I decided to look it up, and it turns out that the MC, I believe main character, is related to Gaara. And then in brackets, show Raj picture. So it's a picture to be shown to me.
Yeah, I will show you that picture. Basically, this guy Google searched Paranoia Agent, and it gives a brief description of it. Do you want to read that? Just skip what's in parentheses until the very end.
Okay, so
Paranoia...
we have Paranoia Agent is a Japanese anime television series created by director Satoshi Kon and produced by Madhouse about a special phenomenon in Musashino, Tokyo, caused by a juvenile serial assailant named Little Slugger.
Yes, and read what's in parentheses there.
The English equivalent to Shonen Bat, which translates to Bat Boy.
Bat Boy. So this guy looked up the series that Raj talked about, read the Google description, saw that it said Bat Boy, and linked it back to our episode title about how Gara hung upside down.
Holy fucking
That's
shit.
incredible.
No way.
Iconic.
That's
honestly.
fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I was expecting that, like the Gara fucking like voice actor, like his
this
cousin
guy
or some
saw
shit.
Bat Boy.
That
and he
was
was
amazing.
like, "Fuck, that's NaruTalk's joke."
Give me your dog. That was that made
incredible.
my entire day. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for commenting. You're amazing.
Anyways, please like, subscribe, rate, whatever you do, wherever you are. Obviously, the best way to get in touch with us is leaving a review or comment, and the Patreon, of course. I'll always look at those messages, and the Discord, which we're all in and we all talk in. But please give us a 5-star review. You can do that in your podcast app on iTunes. It's super easy, and we'll always read them out, even if they're negative. We did get a negative review this week, but it wasn't 5 stars, so fuck you.
Yeah, we're not gonna read it.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Rewrite
man.
the complaint. Do it in 5 stars, and then we'll read it. And
Yeah.
then fuck you.
On the other hand, I'll read anything that's a 5-star review. For example, from Whelp the Whooper, he said, "Podcast good." And that was the title, and then the body of the review was "Podcast good." Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Whelp
dude.
the
That was
Whooper.
incredible.
Brief to the point,
That's such a
strong.
good
Hell yeah, that's an
review.
excellent 5-star review. Yeah, so, but tell your friends. That's a great way to help us get new listeners and spread the good word of Naruto. Big thanks again to Glenn Federico. Of course, we shouted him out as a patron, but he did also make our logo and the art for our name. And of course to Ali Caruso, former co-host, who now does the episode art, which is
We love you.
fantastic
So
Photoshop
good.
every week. Check it out on the YouTube or the Twitter or the Instagram or whatever. Next Monday, we're going to be talking about episodes 34, 35, and 36. If you're one of those people that watch ahead, write in, let us know what you think. I'm excited because these episodes were badass.
I'm very
Yeah.
excited.
For you season 2 people, what do they call it? It's episodes, what, 8, 9, 10?
8, 9, and 10.
8,
Yeah.
9, and 10. So
Yeah.
if you're weird, do it like that.
Like I said, that's too much.
It's a lot.
It's too many numbers going on in my head. I
But
can't do
listen,
that.
there's somebody
It's
out there
actually
for
less
somebody,
numbers.
so
That's true.
Yeah.
let us know if you're watching it in that order, and then we'll tell Liam to shut up.
But yeah, but basically 34, 35, and 36 of original Naruto. You can look it up to find out what episodes those are and what season. But it's season 2.
Just follow along with the podcast.
Exactly,
And then
yeah.
you won't miss any
Fuck it,
episodes.
don't even watch the show. Just listen to the podcast, honestly. But seriously, if you are listening, thank you so much. That
love you
really
a
means
lot.
the world. Yeah, and
The sport's been great.
yeah, your continued
Gets me up in the
support,
morning.
your comments, your everything. I think it means a lot to all of us.
It
My
really
life has
does.
spiraled downhill
Yeah, it really does.
for a long time now. This is what gets me up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And tonight at dinner, Katie and Raj, unprompted, started talking to me about Naruto, which means that my evil plan of being able to talk about Naruto in my day-to-day life is almost complete.
You fell right into his trap.
You've activated my trap card.
I haven't gotten there yet.
I know. Well, he was like, "I'm saving it for the podcast," and I was like, "Give me a few more weeks."
I'll crack
But-
this code.
But yeah, really, thank you so much for listening. And as always,
Be safe, have fun, believe it.